say there will be no football games this fall.
Cover all your bases with Straight Talk Wireless. Get the same networks as big carriers, only pay up to 50% less. Get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Max Kellerman.
Irresponsible leaders in this country have put us into a position where we're sort of in a post-truth world.
You've heard him on First Take, and now you get even more Max.
And there is such thing as the truth.
The intensity.
And if these other sports want a shot, I suggest they get much more sober in their view, imitate what the NBA is doing.
The Max Kellerman Show, August 17th at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. Just search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Happy Thursday. Day 2. Training camp vlog. Jags camp. A lot of guys wearing short shorts. I think I'm ready to make good on my bet, Goose, because I saw some pictures of Laviska Shenault. Spoiler alert, everybody. He's big, but also pretty sure he's rocking shorter shorts than Gardner Minshew today. So to the people out there, I'm not going to name any names right now, but for the people telling me that I was in the wrong and that he was wearing pants yesterday, Minshew had short shorts, I oblige you and I dare you to look at the Jaguars media picks today and see what Laviska Shenault was rocking. The prosecution rests. I'll take that bet to the bank. That's 1 for 3, Coos. I need 2 more bets now. I need a fullback to be used this season. And what was the other bet? Oh, I had Shaq Quarterman playing strong side linebacker. So far, off to a good start. Keep in mind, too, this is day 2 of training camp, and I'm already cashing in on my bets. Not bad. Not bad percentage right now.
When are you going to cash in on the screen pass stuff?
On this, on the talking about the halfback screens?
Yeah.
I mean, that's more of a celebration than it is a cash-in, and that will be happening week 1 against the Colts when I can foresee Leonard Fournette maybe on a 1st and 10 or maybe a 2nd and 8, and I see him in the backfield. All of some offensive linemen let all the defensive linemen go, and everyone's going to be like, what is going on? Our offensive line shot. No communication. Check this out. Screen pass. Boom. 30-yard gain. And then I'll be in the streets, Coos. I'll be celebrating. I'm sure you'll be with me because we won't be in the press box more than likely. So we'll probably be at our local drinking establishment. Social distancing. Social distancing, of course. But we're going to be excited to see that first screen pass. So right now I am 1 for 3 on my bold takes for the Jaguars training camp, and we're in day 2. Hey, let's pace ourselves here, everybody. Let's go ahead and pace ourselves. You know, a couple of days ago, we announced the big news. We're the official broadcaster, we're the official station of the Florida State Seminoles. What a great time to get in on that bet, because right now the Florida State Seminoles having a little turmoil, going through some stuff right now. We'll break that down later today at FSU at 4. We got Brent Martineau coming in. He's going to talk to us about the training camp, what he saw today. I can't wait to hear who's in shape, who maybe is not in shape. I mean, that's literally the biggest thing we got going on right now, Coos. And it's kind of like, I don't want to call it the underwear Olympics like the Combine is, but let's be honest. This isn't really a training camp right now, what we're in. We're in OTAs right now, right? And when you're in OTAs, schematically, you don't have a lot of stuff to go off of. Sure, you can say this rookie looked good, this rookie looked good. But the easiest thing to say right now is he looks to be in shape. He lost some weight. He looks good. Fantastic. Now, what does that all mean? Not, in my opinion, not too much, okay? Let me see the pads come on first. And keep in mind, I'll be at training camp tomorrow, so I'll see with my own eyes right now of who looks good and who looks in shape and yada, 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 whose legs are big. Like Laviska Shenault was all over my Twitter feed this morning saying how big that guy is. I get it. But what I'm concerned with is who are the football players right now? And obviously, it's hard to find that out until the pads come on, but I am excited to go to training camp tomorrow, check some stuff out. Obviously, I'll be with the defensive line, probably egg Avery Jones to finally give me my money that he owes me. So hopefully he brings his, he brings his debit card, or he gives me his Venmo account, because it's been way too long, Avery, if you're listening right now. And if not, I'm going to retweet this and you're going to hear about this later. Other news, tight ends. Tight ends starting to be a big commodity, Coos. Travis Kelce in line for another contract right now. We had George Kittle earlier today just get his contract for the 49ers, and Travis Kelce's now next in line. One thing is Travis Kelce can give me back my $25 gift card to Applebee's that I gave him at the Super Bowl, because I think for the amount of money he's about to make, I don't think he's going to need that gift card anymore. And I'm very curious to see, and I'm not sure if the official word has been put out yet, but if we look at the contract breakdown of George Kittle here, let me bring it up real quick. I believe he got $75 million. Kuz, did you see that?
I did not see the official number.
Yeah,
no.
So George Kittle got 5 years, $75 million, and that's $40 million guaranteed. Literally twice that of any other tight end in the NFL right now. Keep in mind, Austin Hooper got $30 million guaranteed, and then $12 million. So George Kittle setting a precedent, as he should. You know, he's the ultimate game changer. Can't put a safety on him, not fast enough. Can't put a corner on him, they're too small. So, listen, I like the George Kittle contract. I like the fact that San Francisco shored him up. They understand how viable he is, and I'm excited to see what Travis Kelce's going to get. I don't think they've announced it quite yet, but one would think, at least I would think, and I hope that Travis Kelce even gets more than George Kittle. I think Travis Kelce is probably the best tight end right now in the NFL. No more baby Gronk for Travis Kelce. He's his own man. He's Big Kelce now. We don't got to call him baby Gronk anymore. So those reports coming in from Ian Rappaport, Bleacher Report, they're all saying the Chiefs are closing in on signing that long-term extension. And props to the Chiefs once again. We talk about a team right now where they shored up Patrick Mahomes. They have Chris Jones on the other side of the ball. Obviously, have Tyreek Hill for a while. This is a team right now that is realizing the talent that they have and what they want to do going forward, and they're doing everything in their power right now to sign those key playmakers, those cogs, those pillars on their team for a long time to come. And obviously, I think Travis Kelce is kind of that final piece. And keep in mind, they have some young talent coming in too.
You know what else they have in common?
What do they got?
We said this before. We did this sometime in the offseason, I believe. They've got personality. Mm-hmm. Personality that's getting paid.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody across the league has personality at that position, but wow, what a day for tight ends. And you do think, I mean, listen, if I say tight ends right now, you think Gronk, you think Kittle, you think Kelce, and those are three huge personalities. If I continue the list, you think Ertz. I don't think he's a huge personality. I don't think he's a boring guy, though, either. Yeah. But he's definitely not like those guys. And then, you know, where else does your mind go in terms of tight ends in the NFL?
Well, I mean, it's got to go to Austin Hooper because he was the highest paid. True. But, I mean, I don't know much about Austin Hooper.
Him, right? Yeah, you have no idea. I wouldn't know unless I followed the Falcons, and now maybe we'll see him with the Browns.
Yeah.
But doesn't it? I mean, again, all the dollars going into the tight end position on a day, by the way, where maybe you'll hear this. Doug Marrone, it was yesterday, where Jay Gruden says he thinks it's maybe the second hardest position to play outside of quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I'm putting words in his mouth. I don't know if he said exactly like that, but kind of the context of the way he said it is like, I think he said outside of quarterback might be the hardest position to play right now in the NFL because of the different things you're asked to do from a blocking standpoint, a receiving standpoint, and all the different things you have to know at that position. I never equated it like that. I heard Gruden talk about it. I was like, okay, it makes some sense. And by the way, a lot of teams now will throw that tight end back in the fullback area and not have a fullback.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. You know, I mean, Gronk really kind of redefined I mean, obviously you had guys like Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates, but like Gronk was the first guy that I encountered that I played against where, you know, he wasn't just a finesse blocking tight end. A lot of tight ends out there, you know, they're not necessarily the strongest guys, but they're crafty. You know, like they're going to cut you off, obviously, kind of throw you out of the hole, but they're not going to power you back. Well, to me, like Gronk was that guy. Gronk obviously was a threat in the red zone, a threat in the receiving game, but he had the physicality to actually drive you back like an offensive tackle would. So that's what like kind of made Gronk stand out a little bit. Now, Travis Kelce in his own right, I mean, I think Travis Kelce is a pretty dang good run blocker. I don't think he's a Gronk where he's going to push you back 10 yards and put you on your back or anything. But with that being said, in terms of being dynamic, I mean, is anybody more dynamic at that position than Travis Kelce? The way Andy Reid uses him in the backfield, in slot, on the outside, he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. And I'm reading right now, Ian Rappaport is reporting that Travis Kelce is set for a 4-year extension worth between $14 million and $15 million per year.
Well, there you go. Where do they keep getting all this money?
I told you, man, the salary cap does not exist.
I know that, but that's still a lot of money.
The salary cap does not exist.
They've got so much money tied up in guys. I mean, are they going to play with like 7 guys eventually?
Well, you got to think like I'm sure
can't afford anybody else.
Well, you know they're going to eventually cut ties with Sammy Watkins, so yeah. He was commanding a big chunk. And let's be honest, I mean, set aside from that Jaguars game week 1, which was painful for fans out there, Sammy Watkins kind of had a down year, so they have no problem washing their hands of Sammy Watkins. That's a big chunk of money. So you take that money, give it to Travis Kelce. Good to go.
Yeah, and, you know, obviously Mecole Hardman, they've got in the stable of receivers now for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes just tweeted 6 more years. These guys are locked up together for a long time. How long do you think a guy like Kelce, how old's Kelce? 27, 28?
I think
how long can he play at this kind of level?
Yeah.
Is the question. I feel like he might be. When did he come out? Was he in?
It would have been 2013.
I was 13 when he came out.
Or, yeah, 2013, I believe.
Okay. So I just wonder how much, you know, Gronk's career could be over. Like, we have no idea how Gronk's going to do. He retired and didn't play last year.
Travis Kelce's 30 years old.
Oh, he's 30?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he might be 28. I didn't know he's 30. So I mean, this is it for him, obviously. Nice payday. But I mean, realistically, what can you depend on? Like, it's interesting because Mahomes says 6 more years, but I mean, you're not going to play at that level for 6 years. Now, Antonio Gates played at a high level for a long time.
Yeah.
Can you do that in this position?
I mean, to me, you have to ask it like, because Travis Kelce's relied more on his receiving abilities than he is his blocking abilities. Now, yeah, he blocks and everything, but like Travis Kelce is that weapon that you want in the red zone. He's the weapon you want in the receiving game. So you have to ask the question, can a wide receiver hold up that long? I think given Travis Kelce, you know, his history, he hasn't really been hurt that much as far as I know. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah. I heard you talking short shorts. Laviska Shenault showed it off today.
Yep.
I might start going out to practice with short shorts on.
Call that. I might be wearing jean shorts tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But yeah, dude. I mean, and if it's hot enough, I get it. But I told you, when you squat 550, you got to show it off. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Observations from today out at camp. We'll get to that in a couple moments. You also mentioned fullback. I know you're waiting on that to cash in on that one.
I am.
I thought it was an interesting conversation when Doug Marrone was asked about the fullback. There was Gene Fournette who asked him about it. And it was interesting just overall. It wasn't specific necessarily, in my opinion, what Doug said to the fullback. I mean, it kind of was. But to me, it was more interesting on where he went with the discussion and what goes into building the roster. Fascinating, in my opinion. Also, Cam Robinson, the Jags offensive line. More thoughts, more reason for at least the Jags internally to be excited. I know everybody's going to be wait and see on the outside. I'm going to spin around the Cam Robinson angle because I think people have been critical, right? And been like, okay, can he do it? Can he do it? Is this the, I mean, he's got to prove it. Will Richardson beat him out? Is that going to be a battle? Not a lot of faith in Cam Robinson. They should have drafted a new guy. I was thinking about this today, listening to Doug Marrone talk about Cam Robinson. Maybe we should be praising him. Sounds strange, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I'll get into that. We'll talk about it. Some camp observations from day 2. By the way, it looked a little more like football.
Okay.
Little bit more football, little less CrossFit training. Not a lot, but a little.
Sure.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, we will talk FSU.
You've got to, man.
Strange things going on in FSU, but then an interesting comment from a player at Memphis about the whole ordeal. Get into it coming up. We'll talk a little Florida State as well. What's the latest on college football? A spring football plan by one Big Ten coach. All on the way on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy, hot and humid today with scattered afternoon and evening storms. We reached the low 90s this afternoon, dropping into the low to mid 70s tonight. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. Time for more summer savings.
No other jeweler in North Florida can beat Beards Diamonds. They have the largest selection and the lowest prices. And now with their 5 years, 0 interest financing, you can go even bigger.
Yes, save on everything. Rings, earrings, bracelets, pendants, wedding bands, all designer jewelry, all colored gemstone pieces, and all diamonds. 5 years, 0 interest, and no money down.
It's a great time to splurge on that $12,000 3-stone ring and pay just $200 a month.
Impress her with a bigger diamond engagement ring, a $6,000 setting from just $100 a month.
Or how about $3,000 diamond stud earrings, only $50 a month?
Get the absolute lowest prices Beards is known for. Then spread your payments out over 60 months with absolutely no interest and nothing down.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center.
Come in, see the difference, save thousands.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have all the way from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Store hours and directions at diamondsdirect.com.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
There's a new, modern, patient-centered orthopedic practice in Jacksonville.
We believe that the patient pays money for a doctor and should be seen by a doctor.
Ortho Edge.
They're getting the most technologically available medicine there is.
Ortho Edge.
You're going to get a much better experience with your physician. We all see our patients.
Get the answers right away and more focused care on patients.
Find out more about us at orthoedge.com.
Ortho Edge. We're in the DePaul building attached to St. Vincent's Medical Center, Riverside.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some 2-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that. Like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. All you got to do is say Amazon Echo, Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy that succulent sports coverage.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
The only thing, and I'll just say it now and I'll pause while you guys text us out, is that, Quincy Williams has a core muscle issue, so he's going to miss some time. And we'll just move Dakota Allen up and Nate Evans, with the will linebacker position. So that's where we are as a team, right now.
I had somebody say, how do the Jags get people hurt already? It's football. It's training. I told them, I responded, I pulled a muscle getting a beer out of the fridge last night. I mean, come on. Listen, I think what people don't understand about the injuries always get me about the fans sometimes that kind of complain to the point they complain about it. I understand it's frustrating. You think you're frustrated about it. Can you imagine how frustrating it is inside the building and for the player, especially when it's like, I always say this, if I'm playing a violent sport, I'd almost somebody knock me out and I get hurt than I do get hurt like running a sprint. you know?
Yeah,
it's
for
just something weird about getting hurt that way in this kind of game.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is these athletes are finely tuned machines. There's not a lot of error in their bodies. to be able to, like, there is in mine. You know what I mean? Like, I probably have some leniency before I get hurt. Theirs are so finely tuned. I think sometimes at least this, I don't know if this is real or not. This is the way I view it. Like, I always thought Marquise Lee, I equated him to a racehorse.
Yep.
Because if you looked at him, like, you couldn't find an inch of fat to pinch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all can.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that. He was that, like, just muscle everywhere.
Yep.
And so my point is, actually covering horse racing, like, it's a very frustrating thing in that business, too, because it can be the slightest thing, and it's like, scratch from the race, gone for 2 months. And it's like, really? Like Kentucky Derby horse, gone. Can't. It's got to be in prime shape, perfect shape. Now, an athlete, an NFL player, doesn't need to be perfect shape. But anything that tweaks that engine and that frame, I just think you can't go at 100%. You're not going to go. And I think they're more susceptible to those kind of injuries because of the way their bodies are built. Quincy Williams, again, you don't see these kind of injuries that much with offensive linemen. Like core muscle injuries.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see these soft
keep in mind,
tissue.
you saw with Marcel Darius.
You do.
But I mean, he's a defensive lineman.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying offensive linemen, how many soft tissue issues do offensive linemen
I got
get?
soft tissue issues. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say a lot.
No,
that I've
the
heard.
guys that get the soft tissue issues are the guys that are built to run and jump and all these things, the wideouts, the corners, those kind of guys. And in this case, it's a linebacker, but he's also like a chiseled linebacker. You know, I mean, he's not big.
And it's also defensive linemen, too, who are more, you have to explode off the ball. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue had an injury last year, soft tissue. So, yeah, I agree with you. And without sounding too scientific, I mean, I'm always reminded of Aaron Campman. Aaron Campman, when he was ahead of his curve in a lot of things I always talk about on the show, but probably the biggest thing that he was so ahead in, which is now starting to pick up and starting to be like the new trend, is that he was super self-aware of his body. Like, he knew every single muscle group. He knew when something wasn't firing. He knew when something wasn't clicking. And he could go to Milo, or he could go to, at the time it was Luke, and he could tell him, like, hey, man, right now my right quad's firing maybe at 80%, not 100%. All right, cool. So then do this. Like, he's the only player that I ever met on any team that could, like, display that kind of information and then fix himself because of it. Now, obviously, Aaron Campman tore his ACL twice, and it wasn't because, his body was out of whack or out of alignment. It was just the fact that he took one wrong step and he tore his ACL twice. And that's how the game of football works. But my point is that when you're in the offseason and when you're trying to add muscle, you're trying to add explosiveness, add speed, when you lift weights and you do all that power stuff, it can come with some drawbacks, And one of those drawbacks is your body being out of aligned and not firing properly. So that's why you see all these soft tissues injuries all the time. And people want to say, well, they didn't work hard in the offseason. No, maybe they work too hard in the offseason, and that's why they're having the soft tissue injuries.
Now, to that degree, there is some concern this year because there was no spring and there was no monitoring of players that we could see more of these kind of injuries. So it's you never know. I just listen, I'm not railing on the fans here. I just think we get so carried away. Like, every time there's one of these issues, I don't know how many there are in other places. Maybe the Jags are up in that regard. I know they've investigated it for years and years, from the grass to the turf to their training to everything. It is something that they've really tried to get a handle on. I kind of just say it's luck or bad luck in a lot of ways. So we'll see what happens with Quincy Williams. But he's a guy, kind of forgotten guy. Quincy Williams is right now, I don't really I didn't think about him much until Marone said something, because it feels like they filled at least their starting void at linebacker. We'll see what happens. Quincy Williams from a depth point of view and how much time he misses also could play a big role on special teams. All right, I tease this. Cam Robinson is a guy we talked about. Big year for him. He's in a contract year. He's had 2 years that have been not good. One in a torn ACL, and then he comes back and he doesn't play great, And people wondered if he even played well his rookie year, quite frankly. That's fair. So we don't know what kind of player he is, and most people are saying, more critical of him, you should have got a left tackle in the draft. I heard it again yesterday.
Sure.
So why didn't they draft a left tackle? Why didn't they get Tristan Wirfs and move Jawan Taylor to left tackle? And people, why aren't they moving Cam Robinson in a guard? All those things. So people,
it's out there. I get it.
That's a narrative. Will Richardson, maybe will he beat him out? But most of the, I guess, disdain about the Jaguars' offensive line might revolve in that spot because it's an important position, and we've been trained to know it's an important position. Yet the Jaguars, it might be their biggest question mark on the offensive line going into 2020. I want you to listen to what Doug Marrone said today. And my thought coming out of what Doug Marrone said today is, you know what? Maybe we should be praising Cam Robinson more than criticizing.
Okay.
And why? I'm just say this, and then we'll talk more about it, and you can agree or disagree. The reason why I come up with this is the guy probably wasn't in any shape to play last year by the time the season started, and he battled through it week by week, even though, in his words, at the end of the season, he told me, I remember asking him the question, he said, I wasn't 100% all year.
Yeah.
And so he played hurt and not in great shape and not in his best form before you even bring in the fundamentals and performance. Every single Sunday, he was ready to go for the football team.
Okay.
Maybe that's too much praise for Cam Robinson, but that was the thought that I had when Doug Marrone said this.
Cam looks good. I mean, I think what he's probably talking about is, like you said, at this time last year, he wasn't even cleared. So, which means, if he's not cleared at this time last year, then that whole off season, you're not able to put your body in a position for either strengthening of muscles or muscle memory or however you want to, describe it. And, next thing you know, you're thrown out there on the field, and for lack of a better term, you're just trying to survive. You're trying to just win at what you do, and your focus isn't on a process or a progression to build a foundation to put yourself in better position where you necessarily don't have to struggle or work as hard or however you want to describe it. So what I've seen from Cam is he came back, he's stronger, he's moving extremely well. The footwork and the technique coming back is much better than I've ever seen, from him. So I think there's a confidence building, there's not a comfort level, but a confidence building in him. And he's getting better on a daily basis. I think overall, when I looked at the group, I've seen the improvement that we've talked about this whole off season of, hey, this group needs to take a step up. And like you said, I can't really tell from a standpoint of the production because we're in a result-oriented business, because we haven't put the pads on. But as far as, strength.
All right, that's Doug Marrone, and that's the primary part about Cam Robinson. As you listen to it, he also threw in there right at the end, they know they got to step up the offensive line, but it looks like they're doing the part. They look the part. They've gotten better. But let's specifically talk Cam Robinson. I don't know. When I listened to that, I was like, you know what? Maybe, this guy was not ready to go, yet gave it a go. That's my point. I know that's a football thing. That might not be the most admirable thing ever. But when you're going into a camp, you want to be in good shape. You want to, when you go into a new season, it's like going into a new job. You want to be in top form. And I think it's pretty crystal clear from what Doug said, but also the way when he got cleared, the timeline of it. Remember, he only practiced, I think, for like a week and a half before last year's first game. And I think he got a series of reps in a preseason game. I think that was it. I think he got like 3 or 4 snaps. Might have been it. I guess it's pretty obvious he wasn't ready to play. How critical of a guy how critical can we be of him if he wasn't in top form yet trying to kind of gut it out and give the team a chance?
Okay, let's look at this from 2 angles real quick. Was Cam Robinson 100% last year? Probably not. Okay, and I'll come with you on that all day. And obviously didn't have the proper time to train in the off season. He comes into camp probably not in the best shape, a little behind the 8 ball just because he's got to work himself back up. But if that's the case, and you're the head coach and you know this, so then what was the plan if Cam Robinson wasn't going to play? What was the plan then if Cam Robinson wasn't 100%? What was the plan if Cam Robinson goes out there week 1, week 2, week 3, and struggles to the nth degree? Why wasn't there any plan in place then? Like, why didn't you sign another left tackle or something like that just in case, to kind of have a fail-safe a little bit? Because let's be honest, there was a lot of expectations last year, okay? The last season, the Jaguars were expected, to win at least 8-9 games. You had Nick Foles and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So if you truly believe that Cam Robinson was that much of a liability like you're claiming, well, then what was the backup plan in case he was really that liability?
Yeah, probably not much of one. I'm trying to look right now, actually. Cedric Ogbuehi was on the roster last year, so he became that swing guy.
Yeah, the guy from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. He became, other than that, I mean, they didn't have much. I mean, Brandon Thomas, Tyler Shatley played center or guard. Will Richardson was competing with A.J. Cann for the guard spot. And quite frankly, they didn't have much of a depth chart, at least the one I'm looking at right now behind Jawan Taylor. So it would have been Ogbuehi would have been.
Well, and listen, say what you want about Ogbuehi, I don't think he's here anymore. So, no. I mean, it is what it is there. So, listen, I'm not saying that Cam Robinson wasn't hurt last year because I'll be the first one to tell you I think he was. I think his leg looked a little hampered, and I think that obviously going forward now you should be at least intrigued that he can kind of build off last year's campaign a little bit. But at the same time, if you're a coach and you're saying, well, yeah, we were really worried about him, man. I mean, he wasn't 100%. Well, if you were truly, I mean, to me, the coaches were like, all right, Cam Robinson's at 100%, but he's going to be fine. Like, that's, to me, the mindset that, the coaches had. Because if that mindset wasn't there, you probably would have done more than bringing Cedric Ogbuehi to back him up just in case it all went south.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a, cross fingers, I guess, to make sure he got to the starting line, But I get, again, that soundbite today, when I was listening to Doug Marrone talk at his news conference this morning, it just hit me. I was like, maybe even if you don't want to go as far as I'm going to say, hey, maybe he deserves some praise and for suiting up and getting out there, and even though he wasn't really ready at that position, I mean, that's a challenging thing now. But even if you don't feel that way, and that's a little bit too much, I get it. But it could at least give you a little bit of blind faith into this year that he does perform. I've already given you reasons why he might perform.
Sure.
Because I think contract year motivates you to perform. But now at least he is healthy. He does not have that. He does look good out there, too. I mean, you talk about observations, and, that was one of them yesterday that we made. I mean, he looks no doubt better than he did look last year when he was trying to work through that thing. That's noticeable even to me. So I guess there's a little blind faith there that, hey, a healthy player, a motivated player will at least get the best here in Jacksonville out of Cam Robinson. What the best is, we really have yet to see in a Jacksonville uniform.
Listen, if we're going to see your best, we might as well see it before a contract year. And then that's where we're at with Cam Robinson right now. So to me right now, it comes down to a confidence issue. Obviously last year, the confidence on the offensive line, it wasn't to 100%. But I think with Cam Robinson, and, I'm going to go off Cam Robinson's word, and I believe him. I believe him when he says right now that his knee feels night and day compared to last year. I absolutely believe him. And the biggest thing is, if that's the case, which I believe, then you got to think his confidence is going to be at all-time high. Keep in mind, now, this guy was a second-round pick, but a very high second-round pick. Could have been a first-round pick. Probably should have been a first-round pick. A lot of draft experts out there had Cam Robinson going in the first round. I believe he won the Outland Trophy, top offensive lineman. So there was a lot of hype out of college for Cam Robinson. Now, say what you want about his stats and say what you want about how he's looked so far. This is going to be the telling season, and let's be honest here. If you truly are 100% like you say you are, well, now we're going to see what you got, man. Okay? And now, yeah, you might have injuries here or there during the season. What offensive lineman, what football player doesn't? But right now, we're talking week 1, knock on wood, pending you can stay healthy. Let's see what you got then.
Yeah, and we'll see what they have as an offensive line. We'll see what Cam Robinson, obviously a key cog to that thing. One other thought on the offensive line. I shared this with you. I was reading Albert Breer and the Sports Illustrated column, and he referenced a quote from Trent Dilfer.
Okay.
I'm going to find it here in a moment. And he was doing something with Trent. I'm sorry, it wasn't Trent Dilfer. It was Jordan Palmer.
Ah, yeah. I saw this.
It was one quarterback guru.
For sure. One Super Bowl MVP, other one's a quarterback guru.
So he said, Palmer thinks offensive line play is going to be a problem this year. Quote, I think O-line play across the board is going to be the worst we've seen ever. I think quarterbacks are going to be running for their lives at a rate that we've never seen before. The reason is this whole screwed up offseason, I don't think had very much of a negative effect on the defensive linemen. These guys still get work out. They still could work on their bursts, getting out of their stance. They can still run that hoop where they work on keeping their hips low and leading. They can still work on bending. They didn't really lose anything out of this, whereas the offensive line could, is what he eventually went on to say. You agree with that?
I mean, I'm not mad at that statement because when you talk about offensive linemen, it's all about the cohesiveness. It's all about gelling, but it is a lot more about, I mean, listen, offensive linemen, they're big dudes. They work out. I get that. But it is a lot more about just the intricacies. It's more about the hand placement, and it's about, kind of just setting the tempo as opposed to defense. And this is why I love play defense so much. All we got to do is wait for that ball to get snapped and we turn it loose. Offensive linemen don't have that luxury. They have to take the proper steps back. They have to have the right hand placement. They have to make the proper calls if the blitz is coming. So there's a lot of offensive linemen have to go through. Now, defensive linemen, we're not just, cavemen who just go out there and tackle the foot. No, there's something to it as well. But I'm talking about, defensive linemen, sure, we can call games and things like that. But if you're like a Yannick Ngakoue, if you're a Josh Allen, and you have that luxury of being a bona fide one defensive end or one edge rusher, you go to whatever side of the ball you want to, you say, I'm going to do this, and you guys follow me. Okay, that's the luxury that premier pass rushers have. Offensive linemen, on the other hand, they can't just go, all right, I want to do this, I want to do this. No, man, you have to work in the confines of the offensive line, and you have to work in the confines of the offense in general. So with that being said, if you're not on the same page, it could be a problem. And if your technique isn't flawless, it could be a problem. Yeah. So I agree with that. I do.
So, it's interesting because I don't understand. I get the concept of it. And I understand that the defensive pass rushers have a little bit easier. They've always said that, right? If they come into camp, if Jan comes into camp on September 4th, as long as he's in good shape, well, go get the quarterback, Jan. It's not learning an offense. It's not chemistry with 4 other line mates. It's all those things.
Well,
I understand.
And it's like I said, I mean, there are some games that can be ran, your exit, your text games, things like that. But for the most part, though, I mean, those can kind of come back like that, kind of like you're riding a bicycle.
Yeah, but what I also don't, I guess the other part of me says I've seen enough OTAs and I've seen enough early training camp where until you really get the pads on in camp or if you go to preseason games, I'm not sure what we learn about the offensive line anyway. So did they miss that much?
So let me go and ask you this, though. Think back to when you're watching one-on-ones, right? And then let's say, for instance, we see Yannick Ngakoue versus Juwan Taylor, okay? Let's say that it's like it's a pretty good stalemate. Like nobody's really winning, but they end there. Okay, so it's a stalemate. Yannick Ngakoue doesn't get to the towel or to the quarterback, and Juwan Taylor wins that one. What do you say? You say, well, Juwan Taylor looks good that one, right? I mean, he was sound, he was great. Let's say Yannick Ngakoue does a spin move, absolutely burns Juwan Taylor. Juwan Taylor spins around, not even close, and Ngakoue gets the towel, gets the quarterback. What do you say then? Juwan Taylor looks rough, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that was ugly, right? Where as opposed to, let's say, if like Juwan Taylor pancakes somebody, that's a good rep, but then you're on to the next play. If Juwan Taylor just all of a sudden gets burnt on one pass rush move, on just one, you'll be talking about, man, Juwan Taylor looked bad that
He's
one
struggling.
rep. Exactly. Thank you.
Becomes a narrative.
Exactly. That becomes a narrative. And that's my point, Brent, where if you have just that one play where your timing's off, where your hands are off, where your footwork's off, that can just lead to, it's just like golf, I would assume. Where like if you have that one bad shot, that can linger with you. Same thing playing offensive tackle. Same thing with playing guard, where if you let that one guy go, that one time you get burnt, it sticks with you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be said about what you just said when it comes to like Andrew Norwell.
Yeah.
A lot of folks think Norwell played pretty well the majority of the time last year down there. But when he didn't, it was an eyesore. And everybody noticed.
Correct.
A lot of times you can miss a play on offensive line and nobody notices.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you like whiff or get spun around, like you just said in the turnstile.
Yeah.
And everybody notices. Well, Norwell might have led the team in turnstile kind of plays.
And on the other side of that coin here, Brent, let's say Yannick Ngakoue had a bad rushing game. I mean, he wasn't perfect last year, right? Yannick Ngakoue, he had 8.5 sacks?
Yeah.
So he wasn't perfect in every single game. There was probably some games where he got stalemated. But I didn't hear anybody say, Yannick Ngakoue had a rough game. It's all about, the turnstile. He got turned around. So that's my point, Brent, where it's like if you're not sound in your technique and you're not flawless with your hands and your footwork, it can linger with you the entire season.
Here's what I just tweeted. Here's the good news. And this, I seriously thought of this when I saw that from Albert Breer and from Jordan Palmer. And that was, good thing you have Minshew.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, he was what, second in scramble yards last year, I think
Sure.
it was? Is that what I know we went over that at one time, but there was some stat that I think he was total scramble yards to Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
And so, and seriously, it's a good thing you have, if the offensive line play is going to suffer a bit, I'd rather have the mobile quarterback, the guy that can escape. He's proven that. Mm-hmm. In fact, it was a major part of his game. Now, you don't want him to have to do it, but at least you have Minshew in that situation.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, I think you like Minshew a little better than you like Nick Foles. All due respect to him, but he's not the most mobile fellow out there.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the thing with a mobile quarterback. We've talked about it before, Brent. The mobile quarterback can bail you out of a lot of situations, right? Where if that turnstile does happen, and again, let's be honest, there's a lot of good edge rushers out there, even in the AFC South Division. So you're probably going to see that a little bit. But at least you have a guy in Gardner Minshew who necessarily isn't probably the most quickest guy or most fast-footed guy out there, but he can make a play happen when it breaks down.
Who doesn't have a mobile quarterback anymore in the NFL? I mean, Sam Darnold.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I'll start in the AFC East, though. Sam Darnold, not mobile guy.
Sure.
The rest are okay. Unless Fitzpatrick's playing for Miami. But if Tua can get out of there, if he needs to get out of there, you've got Mayfield who can run around. You've got Lamar Jackson who can run around. Joe Burrow showed what a great athlete he is in that college season. Big Ben's not going to run around.
No,
so there's two teams.
But he's definitely not mobile, but he's strong, though.
He is strong.
I mean, we're not going to count that, though. He's not mobile.
Watson, Minshew, Phillip Rivers is not
mobile.
Who am I missing in the AFC South?
Phillip Rivers, not mobile.
No, Tannehill.
Oh, Tannehill. I'm sorry, you said it. Yeah, Tannehill can move.
Tyrod Taylor's in for the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind Justin
Mahomes
Herbert
can move.
Yep.
Who am I missing? Raiders, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr can move.
Bit.
Sure.
I mean,
Drew Lock. I'm not sure about Drew Lock.
I think Drew Lock can move a bit.
I mean, I guess if you're going to rap like that, you should probably be able to run too.
All right, so I'm not going to go through the whole NFC. You can do it at home. But,
I'll do it right now, yeah.
But 3 guys in the AFC, that's it, that you would call immobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Immobile sounds like can't move at all, but statuesque.
I like that. Statuesque. Nicely put. Yeah, it's a nice way to put it.
Obviously, Brady in the NFC. Who else jumps out? Anybody?
Man, you put me on the spot right now.
Stafford.
Haskins.
Stafford.
Haskins not mobile.
No.
Drew Brees.
Yeah. Not really.
Matt Ryan. No.
That's true.
Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So that's 6. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't classify him that, but I would put him in like the Derek Carr category where he can escape if he needs to.
Okay, I can give you that.
I feel like I've seen him run away from things before.
What about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, I think he can move.
Okay. Jared Goff.
Enough.
Jared Goff. Enough.
Yeah.
Jared Goff enough. So we're about
Wentz can move. You know, what's interesting here is if you go
Daniel Jones?
I don't think so.
Oh, Brent going against your boy, too. So we're about 6 or 7 then.
What's interesting is outside of, say, maybe Daniel Jones, a lot of veteran guys. If you're going to be a statue, you better be a veteran and smart enough. Rivers, Brady, Breeze, those kind of guys.
Manning.
To be able to get yourself out of it, smart enough to get rid of it. And so they can do other things the young guy can't do. It's amazing how many mobile quarterbacks we now have in the NFL. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll have a quick segment when we come back before we hit the top of the hour, too. FSU at 4. There's stuff happening in Tallahassee. We're also going to talk about the Daytona race coming up. We'll have a driver that's going to race on Sunday in Daytona jumping in here on ESPN 690. What's happening in sports? I'm going to give you a couple cool stories happening in sports in the next segment. We got a few minutes, so let's talk about some positive sports stories over the last 24 hours, in case you missed it. Next on ESPN 690.
Hey, what's up, Sauce? The land of action sports, Jags on ESPN 690. If you didn't catch today's episode, I'm not mad at you, not even disappointed, but check out what you missed. If you only make a baseball game 7 innings, dude, you take away a lot of the history.
It's always been the problem, is preserving the record book. The numbers mean something. But you know what? The guy that has the all-time home run record took steroids, everybody thinks.
Check out our podcast on all platforms. Just search ESPN 690. Subscribe to our podcast. Thanks.
I call them 3 shirt days. That's when the summer heat in Jacksonville just sizzles It's relentless, and you want to be prepared for it. Bold City Heating and Air will help you do that. Nothing worse than sweating in your own home and wondering, hey, what happened to the AC? We've been there before. Your air conditioning unit needs to be ready for the heat. It might need to get serviced. The hot weather is here, and Bold City Heating and Air is here for you, just like they have been for my family the last couple of years. Right now, it's $25 off an annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it is working efficiently. Then you'll be comfortable this summer, all summer. After the $25 off, it's just $70. Book your maintenance service now and save. Save now, beat the heat. Visit boldcityac.com or call 904-379-1648 to schedule. Mirza and his staff are ready to take care of you and your family. Be bold and beat the heat and make it a one-shirt day, even in the summer heat. Go to boldcityac.com.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Let us explain. If you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct today and decide in the future you want to upgrade to a larger diamond, Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. For example, let's say you bought her a $5,000 diamond last year, but now she wants to upgrade to a $6,000 diamond. Diamonds Direct will give you $5,500 towards the new one. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Whether that first diamond was $3,000 or $30,000, you get 10% more. And unlike other stores who claim to offer diamond upgrades, at Diamonds Direct, there's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Come and discover real value and buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt. Official jeweler of the Jaguars.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
I'm NASCAR champion Kurt Busch, and you're listening to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
All right, welcome back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. This will be a quick segment. Let's go to the phones real quick. Steven is with us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. He wants to talk a little Jags. Potentially a signing coming up. What's up, man?
Yeah, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on the signings of Timmy Jernigan. I thought I looked at a lot of his highlights from Baltimore, Philly, and my main one is Tremaine Brock, a veteran. How do you think he would be as a mentor-wise for all the young cornerbacks we have in Trey Herndon, C.J. Henderson, and Luke Barku on undrafted free agents?
All right, Stephen, appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, listen, if you can add some veteran presence, that would be good. I don't have strong feelings about the Brock, all that. I will let me know. I'll give you more info on the Jernigan one. It's not there's nothing signed officially on the Timmy Jernigan front, so let's not characterize it yet as a signing. Lake City, Columbia kid, Florida State. Yeah. It looks like they're on their way to it. But listen, he signed or agreed to a deal with Houston, and then it fell apart. Sure. That's the world we're living in right now. So it is not done deal. I mean, unless something's happened in the last little bit. But based off yesterday's visit, and
we can just call Dill up and see what he's got to say about
What's Dill saying? Is it a done deal?
I'm not sure. I said we could call him up and see.
Garofalo, I think Garofalo is one that said they're on their way to signing him.
Sure.
I think that was the report. But here's what's interesting. This came out. Doug Marrone didn't comment much about it, but he commented enough to say, yeah, they're interested, and they're not to the point where he can comment.
Yeah.
So, and part of that is the COVID-19 testing. He has to take 2 tests, get negative results over the next few days, and then be able to take a physical. Yeah. So this is a process where when you sign a guy, it takes like a week, maybe minimum, to sign a guy. But anyway, if it does happen, which could be momentum for it happening, I think it's a great pickup and a nice. I mean, listen, everything's a risk right now at this stage of it in the middle of camp. But when you lose Al Woods, Gunter right now hasn't been on the practice field. You don't know what's up with Jan. I like this signing. Jernigan can play now. If he can stay healthy, he's a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listen, with Tremaine Brock real quick, he is intriguing. You know, he was drafted. Well, he wasn't even drafted. I think he was an undrafted free agent, but he was in my draft class 2010 coming out of Belhaven University.
Really?
I think he transferred to the University of Minnesota. You know where Belhaven is?
Gene Smith didn't sign him.
Yeah. Ooh, wow.
I love Gene, too. I don't like ripping on Gene.
Listen. I can't rip on him.
That was too easy, though.
He signed me. So what do you want me to tell you? You want me to rip on the guy?
Colorado School of the Mines or Belhaven?
Guy gave me a contract. What do you want me to say about him? Gene Smith, hope you're doing well, man. A tip of the cap to you, sir. So Tremaine Brock's been doing it for a while. It's been on a couple teams. I get what you're saying here, where anytime you can add some veteran leadership, that helps. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to go out and say that, but I'd argue, I think Hayden is kind of that guy as well.
Yeah.
So they have some veteran leadership, but yeah, sure, go ahead and add some more. But I agree with you, bro. I think Timmy Jernigan right now, that could be the big signing, pending that they do sign him, first of all. But this is a guy who kind of on that Fletcher Cox, prayed a little bit, where very underrated. I think what he's asked to do in Baltimore and Philadelphia, and obviously he played with Fletcher Cox a little bit. What he was asked to do, he did it with flying colors. Okay, now he's like a 3 technique. You move him to nose. I'd probably keep him at 3 technique. If he's like 300 pounds or so, probably keep him at the 3. Maybe move him to nose, but a very experienced player. Obviously, coming out of college, was a big name. Went to Florida State from the area. So if you can get it done, man, absolutely, because you can never have too much depth on that defensive line, especially now seeing how we have Taven Bryan. And that's about it right now, the 3 technique. Maybe Gunter as well, but Gunter's not in right now.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is, let's just, wherever he's playing, somewhere in that interior, if it happens, I actually feel better about the signing of Timmy Jernigan in the middle of August than I do about the 11-year vet Al Woods back in March.
Sure.
And listen, that is blindly because I've seen Jernigan play. We followed his career a little bit.
Yeah, you know what he's about.
And he's a talented guy. He's a former second-round pick. And plus, he's still got, he's 27. Al Woods, 11-year guy, honestly didn't know a whole heck of a lot about. I'll tell you.
Keep in mind, though, Brent, like Al Woods and Jernigan aren't the same type of player.
I understand.
They're not going to be brought in to do, Al Woods is brought in to take up 2 tackles. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. But if you're talking about an interior signing is my point.
Yeah. Jernigan's more intriguing.
I think he is.
Yeah.
And I think there's more upside to him.
Absolutely.
And you could land him in the middle of August.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Not mad at it.
And a nice little hometown get, potentially. So we'll see if it happens. It looks like it's on its way to happening. But again, this will be something that like 6 days from now, we'll find out if it's really official.
Yeah.
That's just the way this is going to work. And I am very hesitant now after seeing Darqueze Dennard and then also what happened with Jernigan in Houston. You got to get there.
Yeah.
You got to get out on that practice field sooner or later. All right, we do FSU at 4 coming up. We also have Daniel Suarez joining us from the NASCAR world. That's on the way on ESPN 690.
You ready for some good news? No, make that great news. You know that new Toyota you've been wanting? It's as good as yours thanks to the huge savings going on now at Arlington Toyota. Every new Toyota Arlington's got is on sale. In fact, you can get 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. That's 0% for 60 months on 10 new Toyota models. Want to drive away in a new Toyota with no payments? Right now at Arlington, you can. Get no payments for 90 days on your new Toyota purchase. Every single day at Arlington, you're going to have over 750 new and quality pre-owned to choose from on the lot, ready for you to drive home today. And with every new vehicle purchase from Arlington, you get a nationwide lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Plus, you can buy with total peace of mind thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. But wait, there's more. It's time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington. Wait no more. Now's the time to get your new Toyota and save big at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/August savings for full details.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Chiefs and tight end Travis Kelce have agreed on a 4-year contract extension worth just over $57 million. 49ers tight end George Kittle has the most receiving yards after 3 years for any tight end in NFL history. And now he'll get a 5-year, $75 million contract extension. No fall football in the Big Ten and Pac-12. No surprise, says ESPN's Ryan Clark.
There were two conferences where players decided to have a voice, where players decided to get together and say, we need to be treated better. I don't think it's a coincidence that those two conferences aren't playing.
Ryan Clark on First Take, Your Take. According to an online survey of sports fans for ESPN, 71% support athletes speaking out about social issues, but 49% said the athletes should speak out away from the field of play. In the NBA today and tonight, the Spurs, Suns, Grizzlies, and Trailblazers can all make the Western Conference play-in, but only 2 will make it.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Most players, street smart and educated, are going to always have a problem with a slickster. And I called him a slickster. Yes, I did.
Jay Williams.
It's an organization. It goes both ways, man. It ain't just like one player is the only thing that makes it happen.
And Zubin Mehente.
Our show is going to be about sports, sports, and sports.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings. Coming August 17th to the all-new ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I feel for the kids that aren't going to have a football season. I understand that these decisions are being made for the best interests of the health and safety of everybody. But at the same time, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old and you don't have that thing that really keeps you motivated to do the right things and make the right decisions and go to all their classes and make sure you're, on top of your grades. I'm concerned that, there's going to be guys that don't take things as seriously as they should when they would have football in their lives. Because when you have football, it means so much to you. You try to make all the right decisions, not only for yourself, but for your teammates. So without that, I hope that we don't see a lot of guys that, let their grades slip or, don't make the right decisions off the field.
Yeah, a lot of that makes sense, too. That's Rob Ninkovich from ESPN on the college football setting right now. And that does make some sense. But sometimes it doesn't matter if you have football or not, because did you see the story with the Seahawks rookie? And I don't, you might know his name, and I don't, and maybe I should. Kima Siverand, he's a corner. Well, he got cut by the Seahawks because they have video of him trying to sneak a female into the hotel.
I mean, dang, man.
By the way,
what do you want me to say to that? Dang.
Sometimes you can have football, and not everybody's going to lock in
right,
anyway.
Listen, dude, this isn't we're not at a high school sleepaway camp.
This might get me in trouble. We had to do that at Flagler.
You had to sneak women in?
Well, because the girls weren't allowed in the guys' dorms.
Oh, we had to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, we had to do that everywhere.
Yeah,
But-
so that was like college.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
This
like
is
that.
This is a $1 billion company in the
amidst
NFL, though, huh?
COVID-19.
Yeah. This is a little different. I mean, I get it, but not from him. I mean, listen, if you're in college and do what you got to do. But I'm talking about when you're in the pros and you're trying to make a team right now and you're trying to make a good first impression of Mr. Pete Carroll out there and stuff. You're trying to be on, one of the most probably promising teams going forward. And you got to sneak a girl in just to satisfy those urges, let's just say. Maybe football's not for you, man. All right? Like, if you're going to put your whole team at risk like that, maybe it's not for you.
Can these guys go a whole season without the temptation?
Of what? Hot wings, women, you name it.
Yeah.
No, I told you they can. I mean, it's nature, Brent. Lou Williams is going to fly to a gentleman's club to get his hot wings. Guys are going to try to sneak girls in because it's human nature. Like, yeah, I keep repeating myself until you listen to me. I'm going to keep on saying the same thing. You're going to see more of this. It's just the way it is.
By the way, he's undrafted out of Oklahoma State, received a $2,000 signing bonus from Seattle, which means he had very little chance to make the team. It was the third smallest, according to this article, bonus among the Seahawks 17 undrafted free agents. Back in 17. No. This year, 17 undrafted free agents. I mean, you got to do everything you can to be locked in. You can't be doing. There was some thought, by the way, that she was wearing a Seahawks outfit.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to sneak her in under the assumption she was a player.
Well, okay, well, first of all, come up with a better way to sneak somebody in, number one. But let's be honest. I know exactly what's going on right now. Where's this kid from again? What school did he go to?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Undrafted free agent, okay?
Undrafted.
You went to Oklahoma State. You probably weren't the big man on campus. There's other probably draft picks out there. I can't really name any off the top of my head. But you weren't the big man on campus. All of a sudden, you're on the Seahawks. You got the Seahawks gear. You're on Instagram. You're taking selfies, saying, I play in the NFL. And guess what, Brent? When you go from mediocrity in college to the last man, I don't care if you're a punter. I don't care if you're a long snapper. If you're rocking that Seahawks shirt and you're rocking that Seahawks hat and you got those training camp pictures, your DMs are going to be extra, extra juicy. And that's what happened to this gentleman right here. He got caught up, man. Got caught up in the life of the NFL. And, hey, if you can't make it a weekend, maybe this life's not for you, Brent.
That's a problem. It's already tough enough to make the team as an undrafted free agent, and now you get cut because you're basically being used as an example from Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, exactly. Hey, it's not for everybody, Brent,
it's hard.
okay?
It's going to be hard for these guys.
The guy gave in to temptations. His DMs were full. He checked them. Big mistake. Wait till after camp. Wait till you make the team to check your DMs. To all the advice out there to all the rookies. Wait.
That from a former Jags player.
I didn't have DMs. We didn't even have Instagram. So what do you want me to say?
You're so old now. I didn't even have
I'm
DMs.
so old, man. I'm so old.
Just played like yesterday, it feels like. Hey, Brent Martineau, former Jags player, Austin Lane on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Let's talk a little racing because Daytona, they'll be racing this weekend in a different kind of way. We haven't seen this road course style before they get the regular style racing back at Daytona later this month. Daniel Suarez is going to race, and he joins us right now on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. How cool will this be on Sunday in Daytona, Daniel?
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Good.
And yeah, I mean, this weekend is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited actually to go to a race in a while because we just don't really know what to expect. It's gonna be very different. If somebody tells you how it's gonna be, they're lying to you because nobody knows. So, I'm excited and really looking forward to see how things play out on Sunday.
Go Bowling 235 at the Daytona Road Course is coming up this Sunday. And you just said if anybody tells you how it's going to be, you don't know. Well, because it's so new and you don't even get to practice, man. How hard is that for the drivers, for the teams, to not even get a chance to see this thing before you go green?
It is very hard. But that's when experience is going to come into play. You just have to be smart, aggressive, and patient, and trying to go fast at the same time, which normally is not the case. Normally on practice, you take your time, you start learning the racetrack, and you know where are the bumps, where are the marks, blah, 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 right? And this time, we're gonna be doing that, and at the same time, we're gonna be racing other people for positions. So it's gonna be interesting, but. I'm telling you, I'm super excited. I think everyone at Gun Brothers Racing, they've been working very hard with this car, and hopefully we can bring a good piece. Toyota, Comscore, Coca-Cola, all these people, they've been working super hard with us, and just thank everyone for all the support, and looking forward to go out there and have some fun, and hopefully go very fast.
Daniel, in terms of a mindset of how you handle a road course compared to an oval, like obviously with the road course you have more turns and everything, but for you as a driver, like what is it like to prepare for a road course? Does a lot more go into it?
Well, it's all depends, right? Road course racing is always a little bit more demanding, just because these cars are so warm, and you don't have a lot of air circulating around you. But it should be fun. Stock car racing is not. These cars actually are not made to go left and right. So these things are difficult to drive in road course. But at the same time, they're fun because they're difficult. So really, I'm really looking forward to have some fun, and hopefully we can put a good show for all the fans and all the people that I'm sure that they're going to be watching. Because if I was a fan, this is one of those races that I cannot miss.
Daniel Suarez with us, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Drives the number 96 car. It'll be Sunday at Daytona International Speedway on this road course, which is pretty cool. Action Sports Shacks will be down there, by the way, for the race. And give us a sense of how things have gone since you guys got back to racing. It looks like it's been pretty smooth, man. How's it been for you and your team and everybody else involved?
It's been good. It's been getting better. We're always looking for more. As you can imagine, a lot of things have changed this year with the pandemic, and a lot of plans have moved and postponed and things like that. I'm the kind of driver that I'm very, very greedy. I always want to get better, and I want to keep improving. But this year has just kept things extremely slow, and I just hope I'm just hoping that we can, be patient, keep working hard, and hopefully things start to get better and better, and we can be more competitive. That's already the ultimate goal.
Daniel, something interesting that I found out about you, doing some research, is the fact that obviously English isn't your first language. Well, you had me fooled because you're doing a great job here, but you said you actually learned how to speak English through TV shows. What TV shows were you watching were you able to speak the English language so well?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much I learned English by myself. Cartoons were very important. Cartoons, reading, and stuff like that. That was extremely important for me. But TV shows, pretty much anything, because when you are just trying to learn English, you don't really care what you're watching. You just want to learn. You just want to hear someone speak, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, anything and everything that was on TV was working fine.
What do you think's harder to do? Learn a new language or make it to the circuit here? Make it to the Cup Series?
Well, for me, it was definitely more difficult to learn the language. I was very concerned about that.
Daniel Suarez with us, driver the number 96 car. It will be some road racing on Sunday at Daytona International Speedway, which is kind of cool. Is it nice to be able to go right back there in a couple of weeks? I mean, you get two races in a matter of 3 weeks here in the month of August at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm strong. So as many races as you can put in my schedule, I'm totally fine with it. So really looking forward to go.
All right, Daniel, we got one last question for you, then we'll let you go on your way here. So it appears that you're into restoring vehicles and you're restoring old cars. What is your go-to dream car that you want to restore one day?
I love buses. The old classic buses. I love those things. I have a couple of those, and the ones I have are not super nice to restore, but it would be nice to restore one of those one day.
So when you say buses, do you mean like Volkswagen buses, or what kind of buses are we talking about? Like school buses?
Yeah, no, the air-cooled buses, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Very good.
Those things are fun.
Well, yeah, and then hang out in the infield at Daytona with them.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, do a
I
little
like
tailgate in there.
Sign us up, man. Hey, Daniel Suarez, thanks for taking a few minutes, man. Have fun. We'll be watching on Sunday in that number 96 car.
Thank you, guys. Keep having fun. Bye-bye.
All right, we sure will. That's Daniel Suarez, and NASCAR visits Daytona coming up on Sunday. Stuart Weber for Action Sports Jacks will be down there. It's just unique. You know, I mean, you think about the beach racing at Daytona, the history of that, and now this road race. We were talking with Stuart, and he knows it so well with the chicanes and just the style of racing that we're used to, especially from, let's just say, a casual fan standpoint at Daytona and going 200 miles an hour and you know, just that style, and now watching a race in this style, I understand the Rolex 24, and you kind of have those unique styles. But it's just going to feel different in stock cars, man. I mean, it's going to be pretty wild to see. I'm interested to see it. And NASCAR again. I asked Daniel about it. They've been moving right along here in this COVID-19 world. Yeah, you know. Not a lot about the pandemic, not a lot of hiccups, at least that we know of. Maybe internally there's a lot more. Daniel just said it's been getting better. So this is cool right now. NASCAR's got a couple of weeks here at Daytona that should be really fun to watch because, as Stuart said, that last race at Daytona could mean a lot for a lot of drivers.
Absolutely. Listen, and in terms of road tracks, too, you know, they're kind of few and far between, but they're still cool to watch. I kind of gave my respect to drivers everywhere when I saw my very first road race. I went to Elkhart Lake, and they call it Road America. I still think they call it Road America to this day, but it was IndyCar racing, right? And then obviously it's not old or anything, but like you want to talk about the chicanes and the turns, and you want to talk about a car coming down at maybe 160 miles per hour, downshifting twice, then going 80 miles per hour up a hill. It's absolutely insane. So to me, I got the respect, and I was in awe of just how skilled these drivers have to be and kind of navigate every single turn, as opposed to driving the oval, which can be difficult too. But this is, to me, is driving right here coming up.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Daniel Suarez, thanks for joining us. Number 96 car on Sunday at Daytona International Speedway. I still think it is amazing that these guys aren't getting practice runs these courses. I mean, it's insane. It felt like, to me, again, a casual viewer of the sport covers the sport, especially when it's down here in Daytona. And those practice sessions, those test sessions, those are important. Yeah, it feels like for the teams, the way they talk about them, to not have it and just jump right back in. From Matt Kenseth, who came out of retirement, to now this new track at Daytona that nobody's ever really seen or driven around. I think it's wild. And Stewart even said, hey, you can't even jump in on the Xfinity race and try to get an extra some laps in and practice. Yeah. You can't do it. Yeah. So no advantage there as well. Once again, Stuart will be down there this weekend. Action Sports Jacks primetime. We'll have it covered for you. The Go Bowling 235 at the Daytona Road Course. All right, big story. We do FSU at 4, and a huge story out of Florida State once again, man. Yeah. We months ago talked about FSU and Mike Norvell, Marvin Wilson, everything that went on with that situation. It got repaired in a hurry. We gave a lot of props to Mike Norvell for moving along and rebounding and full steam ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, now, DJ Matthews, by the way, Jacksonville guy, played high school ball here from Jacksonville. He seems like he's been at Florida State now for 8 years. But said that he tested positive for COVID-19. And there were a series of tweets that I think that was initially deleted, and then he said in a tweet, lies, basically, shake my head. Tamori and Terry, the star wide receiver, supported it. Tamori and Terry's mom tweeted at Florida State, at Mike Norvell.
You know, it's not good when the moms get involved here, Brent.
What's your take on this, again, from afar, on Florida State? Mike, is this a Mike Norvell problem? Is it higher than Mike Norvell problem? And is this going to be another roadblock for the building blocks of this program under their new head coach?
So listen, it's hard for me to speculate 100% on this because we don't have all the facts, right? Like, we have a couple players tweeting some stuff out, we have a mom tweeting some stuff out, but we don't know there's two sides of the story, and all we know right now is one side of the story. With that being said, though, Mike Norvell is not getting off the hook with me right now, okay? And if I'm a Florida State fan, I'm a little nervous right now, and here's why. press conference comes up. Mike Norvell says that he's talked to every single player about, the racial injustice, the Black Lives Matter movement, things like that. What happens like the next day, Brent? Marvin Wilson voices his displeasures, and we have a form of miscommunication, okay? So they have the meeting. Whatever happens behind closed door happens. Marvin Wilson's still at Florida State, and he's going to be that good bridge guy for this year. Fantastic. Okay, that's one instance. Now, last night, it was a press conference with Norvell saying, hey, this is kind of the stipulations that we're going to have. This is the protocols that we're going to follow at Florida State. Going to keep our guys healthy with COVID-19. Here's what we're going to do. What happens the next day and then now the following morning? We have a guy when Warren Thompson comes out and says that he feels like right now Florida State is not responding to his health. He feels lied to, and he goes on a giant Twitter rant. Once again, a miscommunication. Now, whether that was warranted from Warren Thompson, whether he's in the wrong or whether Mike Norvell is in the wrong, I don't care. My point right now is that there's miscommunication going on between the coach and the player. This is the second instance of it, okay? Keep in mind, this is the second instance in your first year. You haven't even played a game yet. So this is where I'm nervous right now, Brent. Yeah, it's one thing if Florida State comes out and maybe wins 4 or 5 games this year. You know what? I'm not going to overreact to that because let's be honest. There's going to be a transition period. Norvell's got to get his guys in there, yada, yada, yada. So the expectations on the field right now, they're not the highest for me for the Florida State Seminoles. Where my expectations have to be high is the fact that you're trying to change a culture right now and trying to get everybody on the same page. And in the span of about 3 months, we've had 2 instances where guys are not on the same page and there's communication errors. So if I'm a Florida State fan right now, I'm nervous, Brent.
Well, there's an interesting couple of things going on here because what's going on at Florida State is obviously a big part of it. What should go on in terms of protocol, transparency, and everything else around COVID-19 testing is a secondary part of this. Maybe at all institutions, all campuses, what's not going on. Are we going to hear more stories like this at other places as well? Because this all obviously stems from the DJ Matthews tweet about testing positive and then everything that followed suit. What else is pretty interesting here is there's a Memphis player that played for Norvell. Mm-hmm. And this is what he tweeted in the last couple of hours. This is Kadarian Jones. I'm not going to lie. Y'all boys too spoon-fed down there in Tallahassee. Nobody perfect, but y'all down there doing this because y'all don't like the way Norvell operates. Just do your part and you'll be successful. That man is going to make sure you win on and off the field. Interesting. And other players have said they haven't had issues or whatever. So it almost seems a little bit divided here. Now, listen, that's a Memphis player. That's a different story. But I just thought it was interesting that in this instance, compared to the last one with Marvin Wilson, where there wasn't support for Norvell, it looks like Norvell does have some supporters from players, current and past, versus a couple of guys that are speaking out right now about the way things are done. And keep in mind, Norvell has come under some criticism for his strict rules.
Sure.
You know, from hoodies to jewelry to all that, anything. Headphones, I think it is as well. So, well, where's the line? And maybe even bigger than that. I mean, if there's some dissension in the ranks amidst locker room and players, well, that's no way to get through this trying time in college football and no way to get off on the right foot for Mike Norvell.
Listen, I don't know if the case is that Mike Norvell is, he's running stuff too hard off the get-go. I'm not sure if the Florida State players are used to more of a Willie Taggart style or maybe it was more laid back. I have no idea what's going on in those locker rooms. All I know is that the fact that you announced the protocols last night and then this morning a player comes out and says that he doesn't feel safe and he feels lied to. I didn't see that player, and I'm talking about that guy I just mentioned, the receiver.
DJ Matthews.
Yeah, DJ Matthews, thank you. Matthews didn't come out and say, well, they're working us too hard. I mean, listen, he has problems with how the team is handling the COVID-19 situation and that he doesn't feel safe. Now, once again, I don't know if that's warranted or not. And these Memphis players can come out and say, yada, 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 well, they just got to buy in. Okay, that's fine. But I don't see Matthews coming out and saying he's got an issue with how practices are ran. I don't see Matthews coming out and saying they're working us too hard. I see Matthews coming out and saying he doesn't like how the COVID-19 situation is being handled. So that's different to me.
I guess because we don't have a ton of knowledge of it, and even like some of the tweets, and there's been some cryptic nature to this, like what are they not getting? So that's the second part of this. And could this be happening at other campuses is the thing. Like, what in terms of transparency, what in terms of COVID-19, is there a feeling here that there's a lot of guys testing positive and they're hiding that fact? Because we're seeing a lot of stories out of campuses. Everybody will be like, hey, 890 some on tests have been done in the last month, and we've had 6 positives.
Yeah.
Very positive sign. We've seen a lot of that narrative. Mm-hmm. But are some schools hiding it? Is that what players are afraid of?
Yeah.
What are you looking for as a player when it comes to COVID-19 right now, outside of some of the obvious, did a guy test positive or not?
Listen, this isn't the first case we've heard about this. In UCLA a couple weeks ago, people were upset with Chip Kelly and some of those players, right? And then they actually went to the NCAA and said, hey, you better get a third-party guy in here because we're not following the proper precautions and the protocols. I've been very adamant about this, okay? And unless the game has changed so much since I've been in school from 2006 to 2010, college football is cutthroat, okay? And winning may not be everything, but it's a big thing. And if you can use it to your advantage, if you can find ways to circumnavigate the protocols and circumnavigate some of the rules maybe to be more successful, teams are going to do that. Now, obviously, everybody's super hypersensitive right now. And to me, if you try to break the rules of protocol, you're an absolute idiot. Let's be honest here, right? Because everyone is watching you right now. You're under an absolute microscope. So you're naive if you can just think that you can break some of these protocols, you can maybe fudge some of the numbers and get away with it. Well, that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying the way coaches, and I'm not saying all coaches, but the way some coaches, the way some cultures, the way some environments think is, hey, you know what? Yeah, these are the rules that are set up, but we're still going to do it our way because we think our way is best.
Well, here's some of the thoughts of Mike Norvell, today, earlier this morning, when all this is coming out, and some of the tweets that the folks that cover in Tallahassee have shared this. Quote, there are some aspects in what I heard that are untrue, and at the end of the day, I stand by the transparency that we've had. This is who we are. Norvell continues to stress this a voluntary situation for players who are participating in fall camp. He said we are working through protocols, including contact tracing. He's not releasing numbers because it's FSU's policy to not release numbers right now. So he's a little protected on that front, sure. Which I assume most coaches around the country are. He said, today's issue, it is a separate issue from the Marvin Wilson situation. I feel very confident with how we operate. And that's where Mike Norvell comes down on it. Now, Cindy Ruiz is Tamuri and Terry's mom. She tweeted earlier today, about an hour before Mike Norvell's press conference. As parents and family members, we deserve to know our kids are safe. Weekly testing has not taken place, and many players have tested positive and yet told to remain silent. Silent no more. Who knows? Maybe is that an assumption? Do we know that? And at the same time, HIPAA laws are one reason why, if I was a school on this, if you asked me this, I would say HIPAA laws are the one reason we say be silent. Yeah. You're not supposed to, unless you can't talk about other players' health and all that stuff. You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So that might be one of the reasons they are saying stay silent, because we don't want you saying, hey, yeah, we heard DJ Matthews tested positive. If DJ wants to say it, it's up to him. But don't bring everybody else into the fold that you heard might have tested positive. Because, listen, we've heard people in our building have tested positive, but we're not allowed to share that information.
True, but it makes you wonder if the culture right now, it's like if you test positive, don't say anything, right? Because maybe that's bad optics for the program, and maybe you don't want to do that. So maybe they're asking play. And once again, I don't know, Brent. This is all speculation right now.
That's what's wild.
This is all we have to go off of. But maybe the frustration is coming from the fact that they don't want players to come out and say they have COVID-19, even though that's their players' God-given right to do that.
Well, here's the thing. Because we don't know a ton, what we've heard and what has been said and what Mike Norvell said today, here's what's really interesting. Going forward for Mike Norvell, this is twice now, before he even really has a real practice. Mm-hmm. Like, they're still ramping up as well. So before they have a real practice, absolutely play a game, he's got 2 issues he's got to deal with. Obviously, that's a little concerning in Tallahassee. It better be concerning. Mm-hmm. But there's a distinct difference so far in this. One is when he had the issue with Marvin Wilson, and Marvin Wilson had the issue with him, he admitted mistake right away. Within 24 hours, had a statement, met with the team, they repaired it. Mm-hmm. They figured that out. It was actually quite impressive. Marvin Wilson came out in support after it. Other players did too. It looked like they were on the same page. It was actually like a galvanizing experience more than anything else, at least from the outside looking in. This one's different because they're kind of being accused of something along the way, which has not specifically been noted, but Norvell is not agreeing. This one, he's like, we're doing things the right way. We're running this the right way. So that's the interesting nature of this one, is what now will the players say? Will they say more? And then it also brings up, are players too vocal right now about this? Even this? It's one thing about, or is it? Is it one thing to be vocal about things you believe in and Black Lives Matter movement, other things that you're passionate about, but is this a little bit more what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room? Is this airing dirty laundry a little bit?
All right, so yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying here. Two things. Where the player that went on his rant, saying how he feels lied to, well, then be more specific, okay? Because we don't know what you're talking about. So from that perspective, like we don't know what's going on, Brent. Like we don't know what the grievance is for. We don't know what's going on. So like that's hard for us to kind of speculate and everything. We can do that all we want, but like you got to be more specific. Like at least with the whole Marvin Wilson situation, we knew exactly what happened. Obviously, there was some kind of lying where Norvell said he talked to everybody, and he didn't. That was brought to our attention. With this situation, we don't know what the grievances are stemming from. In terms to answer your question, though, of does this stay in-house? Should this stay off of Twitter, and should this be addressed behind closed doors? See, it's funny, because you know how I operate. I'm old school with this, right? But at the same time, I'm not naive to the culture and the way we act as a society right now. For instance, let's say that somebody goes on Twitter, Brent, let's call them a troll. Let's say they're 50 years old, they live in their mom's basement, and they eat pizza rolls all day. Cheetos. Let's say that guy...
Cheetos are good, though.
Cheetos are fantastic. Are you going crunchy or puff?
I like both, but I usually lean toward crunchy.
Thank you very much, Brent. You like both. Come on, crunchy
I do
all
like
day.
both.
Yeah, crunchy all day.
In fact, when they buy one, get one free, I buy one puff and one crunchy.
Shame on you. Anyways, so let's say this guy talks smack to you on Twitter, okay? And let's say, it's nothing super offensive, but I know who you are. Sometimes you give it right back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're to be offended or you just want to rib this guy for talking smack to you, are you going to go on Twitter and reply to him, or are you going to go in his DMs and message him privately? What are you going to do?
This is the guy living in the basement with Cheetos?
This is the guy that went on Twitter and trolled you on Twitter, and you want to respond back. Do you go in his DMs and reply, or do you just go on your regular Twitter and reply in his mention?
Probably in my regular Twitter.
Yeah, you just go and reply to the mention. You know why? Because that's the way we operate. If someone calls you out in front of everybody, you want to call that person back out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So the two situations that we have right now with Marvin Wilson, number one, and the second situation we have right now, this all stemmed from press conferences. This all stemmed from talking to the media, from talking to the general public, okay? This wasn't behind closed doors. So with that being said, if you talk to the media and you purvey something and then you're a player and you see, you know what? Coach is talking to these reporters right now. I don't agree with this, man. What's he talking about? What are you going to do? You're either going to go to the media, which you can't because you're in college right now, or you do the second best thing and you go on Twitter.
Yeah, I think if you're going to have the courage to go on, I guess face value of this, if you have the courage to go out on Twitter, I respect that. That's yeoman's work to be able to do that, and it is a courageous act to do that against your coach if you believe in something, much like Marvin Wilson did, and to call him out. But he was specific in his reasoning. I think you're right. You're onto something. If you're going to call it out, well, you got to kind of put it out there then. Put out what. You got to give a little bit of an example. Even the letter it's very vague. There's a lot of vagueness going on right now. And it's hard to say, okay, yeah, Mike Norvell's in the wrong. Florida State's in the wrong. I agree with the players. If we really don't know what to agree on or not, if that's what they're asking for. If you're asking for help because you don't feel like you're getting it, well, you need specifics.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not agreeing with the players, Brent, because once again, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to take a side here. But I'm going to say this. From what I can gather from the situation right now, there is a lack of communication. And you know what? That falls on Norvell. That falls on the culture. And once again, That's all I have to go off of right now. And when you're trying to rebuild the thing that obviously, was kind of torn down the past couple years, which has been kind of an embarrassment, and you're trying to rebuild it from the ashes, the last thing you want to see is more situations like this revolving the lack of communication.
This is a tough spot for a guy like Norvell because he's an attention to detail guy, and he's kind of a my way or the highway guy to create accountability, I think, and also structure and discipline in his program. Well, when you're trying to do that, this has been a tough year to do that in. This is a tough stretch because there's more player empowerment going on than ever before right now in college sports. And so if they don't like that structure, bam, they've got an outlet to try to do something about it. It's fascinating. It's difficult right now, and Mike Norvell's having a heck of a time in Tallahassee in a couple of different instances.
Keep in mind, we may not see Florida State win a lot on the field this year, but you have to win day one off the field to set your culture. And right now, Mike Norvell is not winning, man. He's not.
Again, if you want to be positive, it can certainly galvanize or get rid of the so-called people that aren't all in. Sure. That's what happens sometimes when you start a new regime. We'll see where it lands for Florida State. Interesting times in Tallahassee right now. And front and center is a Jacksonville product in DJ Matthews, the FSU wide receiver. We come back, we get back to the Jags. Building of a roster. Should it include a fullback? A wild answer, I thought, from Doug Marrone. And Austin trying to cash in on another bet. That's next on ESPN 690.
I haven't heard the soundbite yet, so I can't wait to hear this one come.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered thunderstorms developing this afternoon and evening. Otherwise, partly sunny, hot and humid into the low 90s. 70s for tonight and partly sunny tomorrow. Scattered afternoon thunderstorms and your Friday high 92. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, zero interest financing. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233. Celebrate your love with end of summer savings now at Beards Diamonds.
Right now at Beards, take advantage of 5 years, zero interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, zero interest financing with zero down. Take advantage of Beards' already lowest prices in town. But now, spread your payments out over 60 months.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. It's the best deal of the summer. Get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beards Diamonds.
Beards Diamonds, located at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Come into Beards Diamonds. See the difference. Save thousands.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Hi, I'm Nathan from Gordon Chevy in Orange Park. I don't know about you, but I just want to get in the car and drive somewhere. Windows down, radio playing, exploring some 2-lane back roads. It's like a mini vacation. So I say, get in your new Chevy and go. Huh? You don't have a new Chevy? Well, we can fix that. Like a new Equinox. Right now, the factory says take 15% off, but we can do up to 5 better. That's right, up to 20% off, or choose a discount and 0% for up to 84 months. Only at Gordon Chevy in Orange Park or GordonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
It doesn't matter how old we are, we all need love and support. Yet, teenagers who end up in foster care have a much harder time finding it, as nearly 82% of current foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. The good news is, you can positively impact a teen's life by becoming a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You don't have to be married or own a home. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. So if you've ever felt a calling to help youth, please take this opportunity to explore becoming a foster parent to a teen through Family Support Services. Teenagers may no longer be little, but they still need lots of love. Take the next step by visiting foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
You've been waiting for a new ride, right? Just waiting for the right sale. Well, the time has come because every quality pre-owned car, truck, SUV, and van has been marked way down for you to drive it home today when you buy from Arlington Toyota. You got to check out Arlington with over 750 new and quality pre-owned on the lot every day, just waiting for you to drive home. Domestics, luxury vehicles, imports, and Toyota certified pre-owned. It's all priced low and ready to go at Arlington Toyota. If you're worried about your credit, well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. That's 30 days to love it or exchange it. So what are you waiting for? All pre-owned is on sale now at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Guys love shopping at Diamonds Direct because they can always get a bigger, better diamond for less.
We got a higher quality diamond for less money than we looked at any other stores that we went to.
I even shopped down in Mexico, thinking maybe down in the Caribbean it would be better off, and nothing could beat what I found here.
The value and the deal that you can get by cutting out the middleman.
You're certainly getting quality and price, which you don't find elsewhere.
But beyond the value, what guys really love about Diamonds Direct is they make it easy with transparency, education, guidance, and respect for you and your budget.
What I thought was going to be a stressful situation ended up being completely pleasant, enjoyable process from beginning to end.
For all the dudes out there, buying jewelry is difficult and stressful. Diamonds Direct eliminates all that.
If you're looking for zero hassle, zero high-pressure sales techniques, Diamonds Direct is the place to go.
Discover a truly guy-friendly jewelry shopping experience.
I guarantee you that once you walk in these stores, you're not going to go anywhere else.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt.
Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows,
there's no better time. Duval! Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Our legal team can help you understand your options after an accident. We will file your claim and fight for the full compensation you deserve. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Jackson This Together is not just a hashtag. We believe it, and we are living it, all of us. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. These may be uncertain times, but we can still lift each other up, share a laugh, a smile, and even a shout out. If you would like to recognize someone, maybe a healthcare worker, a truck driver, someone who works for a local restaurant, or maybe it's someone's birthday, call ** 690. Leave a message and we will share it on ESPN 690. That's ** 690. Give it a call and help make somebody's day.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, I came in the league with dreams and goals, and I feel like I've been accomplished a lot of those and just been trying to be a true professional to keep continuing my job. A lot of young guys come in, and I like to talk to the undrafted free agents to let them know, like, you know, there's a place for you in this league if you just keep working. And, I mean, I'm just excited just to keep this thing going on and keep having that title about myself.
That is Avery Jones, most tenured Jacksonville Jaguar. A little overlooked, too. I think Avery Jones is a pretty good football player, and he's going to be asked to do a lot now this year, especially with Al Woods out. We'll see what Avery Jones can handle. By the way, check out First and 10 training camp tonight. Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. That'll be at 11:15. We'll have the day at camp video-wise on TV. And my story is on Avery Jones. Marcel Robinson talks about the linebackers, Joe Schobert and Miles Jack. Again, 11:15 weeknights during camp for the next few weeks on CBS 47, Fox 30 at 11:15. Of course,
did you ask Avery about my money?
Still haven't. No, I didn't.
That's fine. You know what? I'm going to address it tomorrow.
It's a little harder to do on Zoom.
That's fine. I'm going to address it tomorrow. I'm going to show up a little early, wait till he walks out of the building, and we'll go from there.
I like it. Kuz, how many push-ups did you do in 3 minutes? Did you try the challenge?
I did not try the challenge.
I'm not doing that either. No. I don't need lactic acid build up when I'm in fight camp. Brent, you kidding me? Take my word for it. I've been more than you. Trust me.
I think you overthink it.
What do you mean I overthink
What's lactic acid buildup? What does that mean?
Oh, Brent.
You think I think about that?
You're so naive. So naive. Well, you probably don't because you golf all the time.
I don't.
But lactic acid buildup is basically like when you gas out your arms. And I need my arms for MMA.
True.
So
you got a few weeks to recover.
Yeah, but I still have to go to practice. You have to go to training, and I still have to get punched in the face. So I would like to have some weapons at my disposal so I can punch people back in the face as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Registered weapons.
Registered weapons, yes, sir.
There's another line right here, right there. Registered weapons.
Austin Lane. Registered weapons. Yeah, there you go. Speaking of lines, by the way, you give me an apology for that one? You did it during the break?
I'm probably going to record it.
Tell them what you said, Brent. Tell them what you said.
I was just going over some liner ideas as we freshen things up for next week, a little inside the business. And so I said something like knocking out people in the morning and
like
talking
that.
Sports in the afternoon.
That flows.
Austin Lane.
Rolls off the tongue.
All right. Then I said, still looking for his fourth career sack.
Yep. And listen, and you think
Austin
you know
Lane.
somebody. And you think you know somebody. You think spending pretty much every single day with somebody for pretty much 2 years now that you know somebody. But then they pull some crap like that and they surprise you. Once again, Brent, I sit here before you right now, 8/13/2020, and I am surprised.
Yeah. Well,
nicely done.
I guess you didn't know me well enough.
I guess not, man.
Either that or you have lactic acid buildup.
I have lactic acid buildup in the brain. Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully you have lactic acid buildup so you don't hit me right now.
Not enough to tell you the truth.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos, you got to do it, man. I want to know how many push-ups you can do.
Here's the problem. I'm going to need someone to count for me just because I'll forget what number I'm at.
So here's the thing.
Okay, Nicole's around. Probably.
Oh, okay, I'll do it around her.
Yeah.
She'll laugh at me,
She can keep the time.
She's going to
Somebody's
make
gonna
my
keep the
confidence
time.
at an all-time low.
Did you count yourself or did somebody count for you?
No, I counted, but I counted out loud. Ty,
Okay.
Steph were there.
Okay.
This was real.
Okay.
I'm not trying to fabricate here.
Next rule here. Okay. I'm not. Hey, you get a little defensive, man. Kind of seems like you're making this all up right now, but let's keep going.
I'm not making it up.
Well, let's go into it. So it's 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
As many as possible.
Yeah.
Can you break up a push-up? Can you sit down and recover and then go back to push-ups, or do you have to be? They're all one chain.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You just, how many can you do? So, I've done this twice. I did it once at Training for Warriors where we work out, right? And the first time I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'll knock out 30.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go do 30 more.
Sure.
And then I'll do 30 more. And, take a couple, 10, 15-second break.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember that time how much I did. I don't.
Okay.
But I did one time I did 30. I think I did 12 or 14 the rest of the 2.5 minutes. I couldn't do it. Once you stop.
Yeah.
Bodyweight workouts are the most frustrating thing.
It is once you stop, it was hard. Now, this time, though, for whatever reason, it didn't get me as much. Now, you can't do as much. I did 40 to start.
You have a video on you right now?
Do I have video?
Yeah.
No, we didn't video it. You want to call Steph and Ty? They were there for it.
Okay, listen. No,
They're the ones that challenged me.
Here's the thing. I'm not denying that you did the push-ups. I'm sure you did. You're looking great, man. That deep V you're in right now, looking good. Looking fine. Not mad at it.
Lactic acid
buildup. The problem that I have, though, is I got to see your push-up. I got to see what constitutes your push-up. Okay? No, you think I'm kidding. Everyone's got their own definition of a proper push-up. Okay? Because some people want to go halfway and then go again. Some people want to get on their knees. Maybe you did. Not saying you didn't. Some people want to get on their knees and call it a push-up. Okay? There's a proper way to do a technical push-up.
I'll be honest with you. Before I did this TFW workout stuff, I would do a workout where a jump rope, push-up, plank. Okay. And so it was for me, it was all right, I feel pretty good. I'll do 3 or 4 sets of these.
Flexing.
20 minutes.
Flexing so much right now. Okay.
But I do it outside. I can do it at home, and I can do it in 20 minutes. I'm a good, quick workout guy.
Okay.
All right?
Sure.
And I feel that's good enough.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to do. So I could do push-ups, but I would do them a little bit this is how I was taught to do a push-up. Well, then when I went to TFW here, you got to get your hands in.
Yeah.
Wow, we're already going to go to break. We'll talk sports in a bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk push-ups
This is a sport. This is life right here.
So you got to put your hands in more.
Correct.
I think it's easier.
To put your hands in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man, because then you're using all your back muscles, using your traps and everything. Yeah, it's easier.
I do think it's easier.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. Now, I will say this. Even though my hands were in, when I got up, Steph was like,
nope, stop. So you went like this.
Well,
even though my hands are, this is the push-ups that
my elbows kind of did come out a little bit.
Okay.
Chicken winged out.
I'm not worried about your elbows. I'm worried about this right here.
No, you go down,
I'm worried about how you went like this, and it looks like you're trying to swat away a fly, and you're not going properly down all the way.
I'm going down.
Okay.
All the way.
I'm just saying, man. And it reminds me of the bench press, too. There's nothing more frustrating than being at the combine or your pro day because, there's a proper way to do a bench press. So, you have, the scout behind you. Let's get it. He's getting you all pumped up. You're jacked up, ready to roll. And you put down that first bench press. He goes, 1. 1. 1 because you're not doing it right, dude. Oh, that's the most frustrating thing you're ever going to hear.
Maybe I only did 1.
Maybe I only did 1. I gotta see some video,
My advice
man.
to you, if you're doing the 3-minute push-up challenge,
get on your knees.
Do as many as you can.
Get on your knees
in the first rep.
Okay.
Because it's harder and harder.
Yeah.
You might not think so.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder after.
Do you know what they call that? They call that lactic acid buildup, Brent.
I got it.
Yes, sir.
This is a sports show. We won't talk push-ups next. We'll talk more sports, including Doug Marrone. What he had to say about the fullback and building the roster. It's coming up. It happens to all of us. That AC unit just starts making some noise, or even worse, it's not working anymore. This is the time of year you don't want that to happen. It's way too hot around here. My friends at Bold City Heating and Air will help. They helped us. It started with a call from my wife, and she said the AC wasn't working. So we jumped on boldcityac.com, and before we knew it, they were at the door. Super friendly customer service, clean, timely, and personal service call. And now we're loyal to Bold City Heating and Air. They took care of my family. They'll take care of your family. It's a big investment in AC.
AC unit, but a necessary one. Mirrors at Bold City Heating and Air has built a strong culture, and as a customer, you can feel it. We felt it. The easiest way to start the relationship with an AC company you can trust is to go to boldcityac.com. Have Bold City Heating and Air check out your AC. Right now, it's $25 off and annual maintenance. Bold City will thoroughly service, clean, and test your system to ensure it's working efficiently. Good peace of mind at the very least. Visit boldcityac.com. Be bold and beat the heat at boldcityac.com.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Let's take a minute and talk about your health, your good health. We can't take it for granted, and CGC Water would like to help. It's important to have clean, purified water in your home for your good health. CGC offers no contact sales and service appointments, and they've taken all the necessary precautions while in your home. Kinetico systems from CGC Water remove up to 99% of the contaminants. Now that's taking care of your health. This month, get 50% off a K5 reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. No more filling the landfills with plastic from expensive bottled water. Instead, fill up on cleaner, safer water from CGC Water. We love it at our house. You can have it at your house. Get the peace of mind knowing your family is drinking great tasting, purified, safe water. Kinetico features Premier Softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that are super efficient and use less salt. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer, servicing North Florida and Southeast Georgia.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Oil change coming up? We can help you out. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need it fast, we can help you get it fast. Whether it's at home with our next day delivery or in store and curbside with our free same day pickup. The choice is yours. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Work at home. Work out at home. Second period math at home. Date night at home. Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you get the same reliable coverage you'd expect, but only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save more with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote.
Price based on driving behaviors and includes daily rate subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. Get all the carpets in your home cleaned by Zero Res for 25% off the regular price. With Zero Res, there are zero soaps, zero detergents, and zero residue. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nurses take extraordinary care of us during what is often the most difficult and trying times in one's life. We often take for granted the service and sacrifice of these first responders. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. If you are a nurse and currently face investigation or complaint under the Florida Nurse Practice Act, you are not alone. Call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Including $30 million guaranteed, which is a record for NFL tight ends. 3 Power 5 conferences are still planning to have football in the fall. Virginia Athletic Director Carla Williams in the ACC says she's hopeful.
Our coaches have done a phenomenal job with all of the safety protocols that we put in place. Student athletes have done a great job. Our numbers are off the charts, great. So we're excited.
Carla Williams on Packer and Durham. Teams battling for the play-in spots in the NBA's Western Conference. In action right now, the Grizzlies lead the Bucks 50-45 late in the first half. And also, mid-second quarter, the Suns lead the Mavericks 49-42.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar & Levine studios. Anajar & Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar & Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I mean, practice is everything. They film everything from individual to team reps. So I feel like as an undrafted guy, you just got to take advantage of all that. You got to be a real classroom guy, take the proper notes, be able to answer the questions coaches ask you. Because, I mean, even without preseason games, we're going to have practices and the depth chart is going to shuffle around. And when you get your chance, you have to take advantage of that. I mean, you can move up on a depth chart just because you know how to run a certain play over somebody. So that's one of the things. And then another key part is for these young guys to make the team and stuff like that, it's going to be on the shoulders of us older guys. I mean, we have to acknowledge that this is a team game, that we need everyone on this team, and we can't just be trying to shun out the young guys who are trying to keep a job. We need to teach them and bring them along as fast as they can.
That is Avery Jones, Jaguars defensive tackle, talking today. A little beepy here, I think, is people raising their hand for questions in the Zoom call. Are we immune to that stuff by now?
What's that?
Like just the quality of stuff. Maybe it's the audio, the video. I don't think people care. I was telling somebody today that like we work in an industry where obviously like Kuz is a radio guy.
Mm-hmm.
When I send Kuz something from like the road, he can tell like, yeah, it sounds like you've got like an air conditioner on like very low. I'm like,
Sure.
how the heck did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so and TV guy, you can if something looks grainy or off a computer or something like that, you're like, it kind of makes you cringe as a TV guy. But as society, I said this to somebody today, we went from everybody needed a 75 to 80-inch TV to now everybody is comfortable watching everything on this phone that's 4 inches or whatever it is. And now I even believe over the last 5 or 6 months, I think the viewers, listeners, whatever, are very acceptable of the situation with Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all that. That it's like, okay, I'll watch or listen. I'm not offended by it.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
I thought it was good. And I like the Jags. They must have just recently updated whichever camera they have on the guys when they're doing the live stream. Because at first, I think it was a Gardner Minshew one. At first, I was like, oh, this definitely looks like a Zoom call. And it, like, bothered me personally. But it's definitely gotten a lot better, like, as the week has gone, really.
Yeah, I think they continue to try to improve it. They're trying a lot of things. I mean, everybody's adapting, you know? And I said it yesterday, man. It was like the new normal out there. Once again, today, very smooth at practice, wearing the masks. They actually put some tents up and fans in case you do get too hot. You might need that tomorrow.
Not if I'm wearing a tank top.
I thought, by the way, it was a little more football-esque today. There were some, like, football drills that felt more like I was at a training camp practice. Yeah. They'll ramp up even more next week. From an observation level, I mean...
Hit me with it, Brent. Give me something good. What do we got?
Here's what I watched actually more today. I watched more of the defense.
I saw that. I saw you post some stuff.
I was just kind of on that field, near that field, and probably too lazy to move over to another field. I don't know. I mean, you could see a lot of times when they do the passing stuff, they kind of put everybody in front of it anyway, like the team, so you can't really see much. I think they're always hiding secrets on the offense, you know. But I thought the defense got. You know what's? I was watching Josh Allen, of course, and really that front line, Josh Allen and Taven Bryan and Avery Jones, those kind of guys. And you know, now my eye goes to that quick first step stuff because you always talk about it.
Thank you.
And Josh Allen, man, he is quick. That first, there's a big difference, you know. There's a drop off between those guys on that first rep than there is in that second and third rep. Now, some of that's because the second and third guys are a little on the heavier side and they're kind of more the middle, the interior. But I noticed that today. You know, Doug Marrone talked about Josh Allen, and you know, we said he was lean yesterday, but he was totally positive on it. Like, yeah, he wanted to, you know, do some things immediately after the season was over, and looks really good and looks sharp and looks fast. And I also noticed that Josh Allen, man, he could be that guy. Gosh, I am so careful now to get over dramatic about little things. I've done that so many times in my time here in Jacksonville, and it just has materialized into absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm very cautious of it. But I even liked you know, as everybody's walking away, Josh Allen is kind of veers off and walks with the D-line coach, and you can tell they're talking shop. You know, they're not just shooting the you know what.
Sure.
They're talking, like he's asking them questions. It's like there's not a minute that goes by, it feels like, that he's not kind of improving, doing something.
You think asking him questions about maybe like a new philosophy or a defensive scheme, or more just kind of asking him like, you know, just basic questions?
I thought basic kind of
I'm just kidding,
questions.
Man. I'm just giving you, yeah.
But and then after practice, the last couple of days, we've seen he's been working with Caleb on Chase on after. Which shows some leadership and stuff. And again, I get carried away with this. I think that happens at every camp. But we saw Calais do that a lot with Josh Allen, with Yannick Ngakoue over the years. And now we're seeing Josh Allen do it. So Allen, to me, man, he is – I feel like sometimes – this is what I takeaway. I'm watching everybody today. Again, I think Taven Bryan looks good. Looks good. Like, looks the part. Looks better to me than he has. And he's always been pretty physical specimen and a good athlete they've raved about. Something different, I feel like, about Taven Bryan. We'll see if that translates to pads in the season. But my eyes keep going right back to 41. in Josh Allen. And I almost even something like I was sitting there today watching the coaches kind of work with him and then work with others and then kind of look back at Josh Allen. And it's almost like they are just wowed by him sometimes too. They don't want to say it, but it's almost like, man, this guy. You get the sense that in their mind.
What was Oakland thinking?
Yeah.
Or what was Las Vegas
exactly
now?
what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they must say to themselves sometimes, this guy's going to be good. Yeah. And you can almost see it on their faces and their body language as they kind of look at him. He's got a chance to be something really good. And Marone talks really highly of him again today. So we'll see. We'll see if it happens. This will be a cool year for Allen because he does not have the help. Now, he could get Jan back. We'll see what happens there. But he does not have the Calais help. Correct. And so what kind of growth can he take individually with a non-star studded defensive front?
Yeah. Maybe
he's taken some attention away from him. Again, we've talked about these things, but now that it becomes more of a reality, we see him out on the field. I think he's ready for it is my point. The mentality that he has, he looks good, and he's already got big-time potential.
Yeah.
I think he's going to handle that part okay.
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind right now that Josh Allen is going to be the game wrecker and he's going to be on the board of every single offensive coordinator going over their schemes of how they're going to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Allen probably comes up first. Okay, so yeah, maybe you see some double teams. Maybe you see a tight end chip him or a slack guy will chip him or a running back will chip him. Like, Josh Allen commands attention now, just the way it is. And when you lose Calais Campbell, you even command more attention. But that's not to say, listen, the beauty about football is, yeah, you can get double teamed here or there, but they're not going to double team you every single play. So what I'm excited to see more than anything tomorrow at training camp is I want to see if Josh Allen has taken the next steps in terms of his hands and in terms of his pass rush skill set. Keep in mind, they're only wearing helmets right now, so it's hard to get a really good barometer of exactly how far he's come. But I'm excited to watch him work at his craft.
This is going to sound really dumb, okay? It's because a Jags fan listening right now would be like, whatever, Brent. I mean, and I get it. But I'm just trying to be honest with you, to tell you what went through my mind a little bit. I watched that defense, and I watched them in between drills, kind of like, just react. It's hot out there, but you can get cranky easy. I thought it looks like it's a group that really kind of likes each other.
Cool.
Fun, love. Kind of, you could tell they're doing like handshake. Taven Bryan, Avery Jones, and Josh Allen doing like practicing their handshakes in between is what I noticed. Just stuff like that. Again, I mean, it's not the dead of training camp. It's not like the monotony hasn't hit for them yet, even. But again, you're asking for observations. That's an observation I made for a young football team, and some of those guys that haven't even been around each other that long. Taven Bryan, Josh Allen, Avery Jones, and you see somewhat of a connection there. I think that's at least a positive. If I was a coach, I'd like that more if I was a fan.
I don't want to put you on the spot necessarily, but I do have a question for you, and maybe I can answer it myself tomorrow when I go. But did you notice who was leading all the individual drills? What player was like the first one to go through?
Oh, I did notice that more yesterday on the defensive side. That was Josh Allen.
Okay, I don't know if we can really display it. I mean, you can tell that because everyone can see that in the videos. Well, and that's really telling too, right? Because
oh no, I noticed that yesterday.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, listen, you want to talk about. He's got to step up, obviously. He's got to accept that leadership role now. Well, that's one way to kind of know that, number one, his peers respect him enough, but number two, he's willing to step up and be in that leadership role because the guy who usually leads the drills is the guy that kind of has earned that right to do it. It's not just a simple thing where it's like, all right, well, let's randomly have you go first and then you go first next time. No, I mean, there's a method to the madness, let's just say. So it says a lot to me, the fact that Josh Allen, at least so far, has been leading the drills.
I think that, and I see Avery Jones very active in that role too, which isn't surprising, right?
Longest tenured player.
Well, it'd be interesting to see a guy like Gunter out there, or if Jan does, ever get here and decides to play. We'll see, because they've got some possibilities. Gunter is more interesting to me because he's more of a veteran guy now. He's been through it, but he's going to a new team. So does he take on a responsibility like that, or does he defer to the Avery Joneses and Josh Allen? But your point about Josh Allen's a good one. I mean, he is being asked to be that. But I also believe he has asked to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
pretty good for a second-year guy.
Listen, he's asked, but he's also earned it too as well. Yeah. Like he's took it upon himself.
By default, they don't have a lot from a seniority standpoint.
But no, that's very true. That's very true. But hey, but then this brings up my next question, and I want to get your opinion on it because I've been in NFL locker rooms and I kind of know how it works a little bit, but let's not shortchange yourself here. You've covered a lot of teams. You've covered a lot of years. You've been in those locker rooms. You know the inner workings. So I want to get your vibe here of this question. Yannick Ngakoue comes back, let's say maybe a week before they play the Colts, okay? Comes back, signs that, franchise tag. He's back on the team. Do you foresee, and I don't want to call it a rift because a rift is a little over-aggressive, I think, but do you see kind of maybe a little awkwardness in terms of Josh Allen and Yannick Ngakoue coming back just from the standpoint of right now, Josh Allen's probably going to be the guy on that defensive line, right? Like he's the guy going forward. You see him teaching Chase on some stuff. I saw pictures of that yesterday and anything like that. So like he stepped into that leadership role. You have Yannick Ngakoue come back who was in that leadership role, who was the guy that was counted on, the guy that was leading all the drills, if you will, besides Calais Campbell as well, but he's also leading some drills. When you have Yannick Ngakoue come back, is there a little, is there just a little something there from the standpoint of, well, Josh Allen's kind of the big dog on campus now, and Yannick Ngakoue is kind of coming to his yard, let's just say?
Yeah, I don't sense that. I think you could have seen that a little bit even last year, and I never sensed that, and I don't think that was. I think if I remember the conversations, it was very complimentary and all that. Now, in that situation, Jan probably thought he had one foot out the door anyway. I'm not saying he played that way, but he's like, hey, I'm not going to be here.
And Josh Allen still had to earn his stripes as well.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. I don't think so. It actually, previously in our conversation, it crossed my mind more about, from the Jan perspective, will he kind of fly solo and be like, all right, I'm here, but I'm here for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to collect my $17.8 million, which, by the way, would be a natural thing. I'm saying that's a selfish thing. Or will he be, I'm here for me and my teammates in the Jags, and my job is to bring these guys along, show them what I got, do what Calais did for me.
Sure.
I can't get wrapped up in that. Because I could easily see a play. Listen, I just think initially, like, well, I'm here, but I don't really want to be here, but I'm going to go bust my the goal is go get 12 sacks so I can make a lot of money. The goal is not to see if Josh Allen and the rest of this defense can be great for the next 3 years. I think that's natural. That's not a knock on Jan.
No.
So I would wonder what would be his approach, because last year, remember, he did say, I want to be a leader on this team. I want to be a leader on this team. Well, then it got caught up in the business aspect of it, and he never got a chance really to do that. I think the Jan that we know, if he does get back in, first of all, I don't think those guys care about any of they get the business side. I think they would welcome him back. Can't wait to have him back.
Yeah.
And I think Jan would be who he is. And who he is, to me, is probably a guy that does want to lead, a guy that does want to help out. And although the business is the business, I don't see him being selfish internally in the building like that.
Sure, yeah, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. And that's why I kind of want to see your take on it, and we share the same opinion regarding it. The thing with Yannick Ngakoue, listen, at least I think he's still going to be gone, obviously. Eventually, if it's going to be this season or the following year, but he's going to be gone. Unless a miracle happens and all of a sudden he has a change of heart, Yannick Ngakoue won't be here anymore. Where it's at right now, though, the ball's in his court, is he chooses how he wants to finish up his story here in Jacksonville. He's the author right now. And you can go one of two ways. You can go make it about you, obviously, and just say, you know what, I'm here. I don't want to be here. So I'm going to give you, my least most productive mindset I can myself. Exactly. Because that's how the game is working, right? And I'm playing the game here. Or you can go ahead and say, you know what? I have some pride for my teammates in this locker room. I have respect for my teammates, my brothers. So I want to hand the keys off to them, and I want to make sure they're in a good spot when I leave. The thing about it, Brent, is regardless of how he acts, the destination is going to be the same for him. He's going to be gone eventually, right? So it doesn't really matter, if he's perceived as this arrogant, selfish kind of player, or if he's this ultimate teammate. I don't think that's going to really affect where he's going to go in terms of getting traded. So it falls on Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, it's just a matter.
Yeah.
It's usually how you're built in that sense.
Correct.
It's easy. The first reaction of all of us in that would be bitter, pout, didn't get what I wanted to do. Okay, but how long does that last? Does it wear off? Well, eventually, I would think it does.
True, but it's got to be hard to go to work every single day in a place that you don't want to be too.
No, let's be honest. Jalen would have no problem doing that.
Correct.
I think Jan's different in that sense. All right, fullback or no fullback?
Oh, Brent, I've been salivating at this soundbite coming up here from Doug Marrone because I haven't heard it. I have no idea where we're at right now in the fullback conversation.
Listen, I like this soundbite from Doug. One, because if we need to grab a drink of water, it lasts long enough. Two, heck, go to the bathroom.
I could really do the push-up thing here during this.
You could do the Doug Marrone soundbite challenge right here.
What do you think is longer, a stoplight in Jacksonville or Doug Marrone answering a question?
I don't know.
Too close to call?
But
right.
Too close to call, but I like this one.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so
got
I'm listening along, and the question was asked by Gene Fredette about the fullback. And so it's a little bit about that, but it turns into how they're – if you listen to it, it turns into all the things that go into building the roster.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was fascinating to me, and how a fullback plays into that potentially. So listen to the response about the fullback, and then I want to ask you, where does that leave you in terms of thinking there could be one? And also got a thought on how important it might be to have one in 2020. Here's Doug Marrone earlier today.
Jay and I have talked about this, and Dave has been involved in these conversations. What are you looking for in that position? As far as how it fits your offense. And what's difficult let's say if we go back to the traditional old-fashioned, the banger, you know what I'm saying? The guy that can go in there and lead on somebody and can really block. So basically it's your undersized offensive guard back there, playing in the backfield, being a lead guy for the back, to help him. If it's that type of player, you've got to ask yourself, okay, what are we getting out of that player from a standpoint of the passing game? What are we getting out of that player from a standpoint of special teams? So, Connor has the ability, he can, he's tough, he can run well, he does have some ball skills. So those are the keys to him going at that position. You understand that goal line and short yardage, or maybe some situations you're going to have to bring someone over, and those snaps during the year, when you look at it from a percentage standpoint, you might be in 8 to 12 snaps of that personnel grouping in goal line, and then depending upon what you want to do offensively, your short yardage. But now there's a big sense of, okay, passing game and special teams. So you start looking at a combination. I think you see this around the league of, your F-type tight ends, which are a little bit longer, maybe not as thorough as a banger from space. What can they give us there? So, we're looking for people in that position that can, actually, if you dress them, because we're so limited, on who you can dress, that I can guarantee that player, 18, 19, maybe 20 snaps per game. And then if you don't get into a situation like goal line and short yardage, he'll be able to get those snaps in special teams. So I think those are the things that I look at that position, because it's a tough position. You look at teams now, most of the time it could be 70 or 80%. They're in 3 wide receivers and 1 back, maybe even more so than that. We look at college and you see it, gravitating to that. So, it's a difficult time. And I think that if you wind up getting one and he becomes a player that can contribute on those things, then I think that player adds a lot of value to your football team.
All right, so that was Doug Marrone today. And so here's the takeaway for me on that. The fullback question never really fully got answered, but it was more of
hanging by a thread here, Brent.
Well, I understand. Listen, they got one fullback on the roster. I wasn't expecting him to say, yeah, he's automatically on the team. I mean, come on, he's not going to answer it like that. But what he answered it with was, to me, very interesting about the roster build and what goes into it. And the conversations with Jay Gruden, the conversations with Dave Caldwell, how can we utilize this player on game day? Don't think 53, think 45 or 46 players. Like, how are you going to use this guy? Like, is he valuable enough to be used for what Doug said, like 18, 19 plays in a game, special teams, offense, all those other things. So that got me thinking, while he's saying that, I'm like, okay, well, you can use, say you don't have a fullback. You don't think, you definitely got to use him on special teams, but you're not going to have that many short yardage situations. You're probably not going to use him in the passing game. So you're like, well, are we going to take up a roster spot with that? Well, no, we don't want to do that. Well, what do you do instead? Well, you put that lead block guy as a tight end, who's one of your 4 tight ends probably, and say, okay, we're going to have him do that instead. Well, so here's where my mind went. Can the Jags afford to do that? You're basically admitting that this guy's not going to be as good at it in that spot. But from a numbers standpoint, we're going to get more reps with him, and he's going to have more value to the team overall. What I would say specific to the Jags this year is they can't get caught up in that as much, because last year they were bad against the run on defense. They did everything they could this offseason to shore that up. We'll see if it works. You know what else they were bad at? They were bad at goal line situations and short yardage situations. So I would not be willing, if I'm Doug Marrone right now and even Jay Gruden, to say, okay, we'll take the guy that's not as good to help us in the short yard situation because he's going to help us overall more and maybe play a bigger piece of the pie, the bigger piece of the plays. I would say, no. I'm going to shore up this dang thing that we stunk at last year because we're getting in the end zone and we're going to get more first downs. And I'll find somebody else on special teams to play those spots or anything else. That's what my interpretation of the whole deal was. That's where I almost left that 2 minutes saying, I almost feel like they need to have the fullback along if this kid's good. I mean, who knows how good he is, but I'm assuming he's pretty good at the craft if he's the only one on the roster.
So what I took away from that conversation, and keep in mind, Brent, right now I got Kelly green glasses on because all I see is money. Because all I see is my bets coming true right now. And Doug Marrone, he didn't confirm it quite yet, man, but I'm feeling pretty good where I'm sitting right now. He talked about it's a Smoka?
Yes,
Smoka.
sure.
Okay, yeah, the tight end. And listen, he's I'm sorry, the fullback. Yeah. So when he was describing him, what did he say? He said he can do a couple of things, right? Like he said he's versatile. He can do a couple of things. I like that because that's what you want out of your fullback these days. And once again, when I say back when I played, it seems like it was yesterday, Brent, but back when I played, when a fullback came in, you knew one thing. They're going to run the ball. They're going to probably run the ball inside. Get ready for it. Here it comes. Nowadays, when you look at teams that use the fullback still, like a Kansas City with Anthony Sherman, sure, Sherman can come in on a goal line situation and you think it's going to be a run, but guess what? He's got receiving capabilities too. So just because a fullback comes in doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a run situation. So to me, that's what you want out of a fullback. To me, that's why you put the tight ends back there sometimes to keep defenses honest. The problem is, though, like you just mentioned, this was a great point. When it is 3rd and 1, when it is 3rd and goal, 4th and 1, whatever, and you're in a goal line situation and you bring that fullback back there, he's not going to be that great of a blocker to try to push that thing forward, right? Because that's not his primary job. I don't care if he takes, 10 reps in practice. That's not his primary job. The fullback's primary job, Brent, it's to block for your running back. The tight end's primary job, what is it? To catch footballs and to block on the line of scrimmage, not to be back there. And there's only so much time you have in practice to work that. So I absolutely agree with you here. When you're talking about, like a Shaughnessy or Josh Oliver kind of being that hybrid H-back, whatever you want to call it, I don't like that, man, because that's not what they're wired to do. Sure, they can do a satisfactory job, but go ahead and give me the guy that can be an absolute beast at it and get you that first down. Pending, obviously, that he's good on special teams as well. Because once again, I mentioned Anthony Sherman, a special teams beast. So he has to be able to do more than one thing and then just block for his running back. You have to be good on special teams as well.
You can't play in the NFL at fullback if you can't be on special teams, too. I mean,
come on.
You have to be able to do it.
Correct.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if this young man can do it. Connor Slumka, if I'm saying that right.
Slumka, there we go.
He's out of Army, too. He went to Army, plays college ball. But in short, kind of what I just said is like, I need to be good at what I was bad at.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be as good as possible. I would rather trim away the value of a guy because he's going to play 12% of the game, even if it trims down to 8% of the game, to be great at something I stunk at last year. And as vital as scoring from the 1 yard line and as vital as getting another first down on 3rd or 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And so that's where I come in on this. And I get it. By the way, I get the whole thing. It's a jigsaw puzzle for these guys. It's not easy with 53-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, and reason why I bring this up today and spending 10 minutes on the fullback is because not so you
Wisconsin
can cash
right now,
in.
Brent? What are we doing here?
Well, because here's what I say. Brent, the covering the Jags, or Brent, the football guy, or Brent, the fantasy football player, it's freaking fullback. Who cares, man? I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? That's what until I heard that today, that's what I always say. Now, listen, Greg Jones, I wouldn't tell it to his face. Who cares? But
I wouldn't say it about him regardless, man. That guy can come find you. You want to say it about Greg Jones?
But, I just I think if you're not a very good football team or haven't been a very good football team, I'm not willing to try to get better at something, but take somebody slightly deficient in the area to help improve it.
Well, and listen,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
so that's why the fullback makes some sense to me.
Yeah. Keep in mind, too, though, I mean, Greg Jones, probably the best fullback in Jaguars history. Would you agree or not?
I think so.
Yeah. But obviously, he was great at special teams as well. I mean, like, as far as a personal protector, hey, you have a better chance of, like, getting in the Pentagon than trying to get past Greg Jones as a personal protector in the punt game. Just wasn't going to have it, man. Just wasn't wired that way. He's a different kind of beast.
Still is, by the way.
Hey, who are you talking? Now he shaved his dreads. You know, he's got the buzz cut.
He does.
Do what you want there, Greg. Hey, I'm the last person.
Why don't they just ask Greg to play? I mean, he's got to be able to still play.
Bring him back, man.
You think he could still play?
Brent, come on. The guy has lived on a diet of grilled chicken and broccoli for the past decade. I think he's going to be okay. I still think he's got some mileage left in that chassis. He's going to be good to go.
Yeah, I think so, too. Hey, when we come back, we talk a little spring football. One coach in the Big Ten put a plan together. Does it make any sense? We'll briefly overview it. Also, I did promise you earlier, got some good sports stories. I think we got some cool sports stories, and one of them begs the question, why don't we see it more? In my opinion. That's how we're going to end the show here on a Thursday edition of Action Sports Jax on ESPN at 690. You know we're getting closer to football season, and we just spent 15 minutes talking about a fullback. We got more to come.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Tracking some early evening showers and thunderstorms fading away through sunset, but temperatures in the 80s. Overnight lows drop down to the low 70s. Scattered afternoon showers and storms return for Friday. Highs in the low 90s. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where for a limited time, you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing. Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
The economic difficulties caused by the current pandemic is affecting the survival of local small businesses. Many have had to close or greatly reduce operations. How well prepared are you to gear back up once conditions begin to improve? Will there be enough working capital to do so? Take advantage of this time to participate in a SCORE webinar or meet virtually with a counselor to get some ideas on developing a business recovery strategy. Register for a webinar or schedule a confidential mentoring session at jacksonville.score.org.
Celebrate your love with end of summer savings now at Beards Diamonds.
Right now at Beards, take advantage of 5 years, 0 interest financing.
Yes, 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500. You pay just $25 a month. But it's only for a limited time and only at Beards Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
In these unprecedented times, nurses on the front lines continue to deliver treatment and care under some extreme medical and environmental conditions. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar & Levine. If you are a nurse or other licensed healthcare professional and currently face an investigation or complaint that threatens your professional license, let us help you protect your rights. Call us at 904-600-4000 for a consultation and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville. Mortgage rates are at historic all-time lows. There's no better time
Duval. Purchase your first home or refinance with Crossview Mortgage. At Crossview, they have a proven track record with VA loans and helping people even when the big banks can't. Get pre-qualified. Do your application by phone in minutes. Let them help you save thousands. Call Crossview Mortgage, 325-9008. That's 325-9008. CrossviewMortgage.com. NMLS number 1377291.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Security experts recommend that if you have a do-it-yourself alarm, don't use their alarm signs or stickers. Why? Because it tells crooks exactly which system you have, and some signals can be jammed with a common garage door opener. Yes, the equipment is built that cheap. It's not been tested by UL Laboratories, and the DIY company selling it has no license. They use a third party. It just doesn't measure up. That's why thousands of business owners and families trust SafeTouch Security. All SafeTouch systems are custom designed for each installation and installed by state-certified technicians and are covered by a lifetime warranty. The SafeTouch two-way communicator provides the fastest possible response time with an 8-second average. All monitoring is done from the SafeTouch 24-hour monitoring center, giving you peace of mind for you and your family. SafeTouch Security has been protecting you and your family like no one else for 35 years. Go to safetouch.com today for a free home consultation. State license number EF0000233.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Chandra with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Recent cases of measles in the United States have caused serious illness and have many parents concerned. This virus is incredibly contagious. If your child is not vaccinated, they're likely to get the measles if they're exposed. The good news is the measles vaccine is very safe and effective. Remember, the best way to protect your children, your family, and your community is to be immunized. If you have questions, talk with your pediatrician or visit healthychildren.org.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and school just isn't for you, earn while you learn by enrolling in the Clara White Mission Workforce Training, designed for 16 to 24-year-olds and no experience necessary. National certifications include culinary arts, OSHA, HAZWOPER, forklifting, environmental training, and more. These programs are customized for low income and disadvantaged. Make your way to the Clara White Mission Training Center at 613 West Ashley Street. Call 904-354-4162 or visit clarawhitemission.org.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I'm kind of excited to see this group compete. I think, the young guys that came in here, like I said before, have done a really good job, of picking things up to where they're going to be able to compete. I think we have 3 players that are going into their final year of their contract, with Chris, Keelan, and Dede. So, you're going to get the best out of them. And I think at the end of the day, we as coaches are not overlooking anyone. We're going to, put people in position to see what we want to get done. Whoever performs the best of what we see now will be the ones that are out there.
That is Doug Marrone, an interesting wide receiver group. Keaton McCardell has a chance to coach them up again. I believe they're better on offense than most people think. You believe their receiving core is pretty good. You said that now for the last 6 months or so. We'll see. Dede Westbrook needs to have a big year. It would be nice to see him have a big year in addition to the growth of DJ Chark. You'd think be steady from Chris Conley. And then what could we expect from Laviska Shenault other than short shorts? We will try to figure out and hopefully see over the next month. This just coming in on the Twitterverse, and that is Mark Emmert speaking. He is the president of the NCAA, which seems like a useless position because he hardly really does anything, it seems like.
Get him, Brad. Get him.
I'm seeing on Twitter that he just said, at this point, we cannot have fall championships. So what does that mean?
I mean,
the question.
There's the audio here. We can bring it up real quick. I can send to Kuz.
Nah, no. I mean, it basically said we cannot at this point have fall NCAA championships. That's the quote.
Yeah.
That's the latest development. That's just coming out in the last 5 minutes while we're in a break. And, does that mean the Power 5 schools that are willing to play will not be able to play for a championship? Could they go off on their own? Could it just be conference championships? Could we still crown a national championship? And again, I think it's important here. You said at this point, which means their stance could change. Keep in mind Division II and Division III championships in the fall already were canceled, therefore canceling a lot of sports and some conferences anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not an automatic indicator that we couldn't have a national championship in college football. But if it cancels its championships, that means cross country and volleyball and all the other sports under that umbrella would not happen.
So I'm thinking right now, and someone else reported this, saying that it does not include football, only every other fall sport that the NCAA controls.
Again, because there's not a controlling factor for the NCAA.
So
that's why it doesn't rule it out still.
Yeah.
But again, what you're doing here, this is my interpretation of this, and I'm just getting it, But this is what you're doing, and kind of what the Big Ten and the Pac-12 did as well. And I think they said this clearly in the statement. I read it the other day when the news was happening, the Big Ten especially. They've basically said, go ahead, ACC. Go ahead, SEC. Go ahead, Big 12. You guys want to do this? Here's what we're seeing and we're showing. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Barry Alvarez says, we can't get answers. We're not going to do it. You guys want to go take that risk? You have the same evidence we have. And you're going to say that the evidence you have indicates you should go do it? Well, now what the NCAA is even doing. And more conferences, by the way, shut down football today. I mean, very few. I think less than half of the programs now across the country are even planning on playing. I mean, I think it's clearly under half of them. Mm-hmm. What the NCAA now says is, hey, we're going to cancel all this other stuff, so go ahead, Power 5. Go ahead, football in Division I. You want to go try to do this by yourself? Go ahead, be the smart guy. Smartest guy in the room. That's what it screams to me.
Yeah.
Be the smartest guy in the room and prove us wrong. But we're going to take the cautious route here, and we're not going to do it. That doesn't mean they're right. It doesn't mean the SEC, ACC, Big 12 is wrong. What it means is you're on an island. And, there's 3 islands, and it can be very nice and lucrative, by the way, because you're talking millions and millions, the exposure, you could be a huge winner on this island.
Yeah.
But you could be a huge loser, too. You might not have a boat to get home.
Well, I like that, man. I love that analogy. And to be fair with the NCAA, do they really have a lot to gain, Brent, if they were to stick by the SEC and the ACC right now and the Big 12? I mean, to me, they're washing their hands of all of it. They're obviously err on the side of caution. Now, once again, like you just said, is that right or wrong? Time will tell. We'll see how it all shakes out. But from the NCAA's perspective, they're just like, you know what? I don't want to risk this for the biscuit. Let's just go ahead and join the Big Ten, join the Pac-12, and let's go ahead and align with them because that's err on the side of caution. And you'd much rather, if you're the NCAA, obviously, err on the side of caution than having some kind of catastrophe down the line.
Let me ask you this. If you were like in these board rooms, these meeting rooms with the ACC, Big 12, SEC, let's take away the evidence. Say, hey, the doctors say, which is what they've said, we can proceed as of now. We can look forward, go forward. We do it with caution. We're not playing until the 26th, which, by the way, I've been a big fan of that. I don't understand why today, this week, all this stuff is the deadline for this. Yeah. You know, I understand people are getting back on, but they're still getting back on campus. They might be going to classes virtually, but I don't understand why we have to decide this like this week. Mm-hmm. I still believe you could have waited a little bit. And that's where the SEC and ACC and Big 12 are sitting in right now. They're basically saying, hey, we're going on forward, but we didn't say we're guaranteeing we're going to play. Sure. We could still make a play. My point being, if you got leave all the evidence out of it. But now almost every conference across America is saying we're not playing. Division II, Division III, we're not playing. We're not having championships. NCAA, not doing it. We're not having championships. Big Ten, Pac-12, not doing it. I mean, if you're in those rooms, if we're sitting around with 4 other people at University of Florida or in the SEC with Commissioner Greg Sankey, I mean, how are we not all looking at each other and be like, do they know something we don't know? Yeah. Are we going rogue here? Mm-hmm. Those questions have to be coming up, right? Like, why are we the ones just over here and everybody else is over there?
Listen, if we're asking those questions, they have to be asking those questions. They have to do their due diligence. I absolutely agree with you, man. Okay? Especially from the Big Ten and Pac-12 situation where you literally just announced your schedules. And something, whether it was some kind of science, and, you know, Barry Alvarez kind of commented on it a little bit, and he kind of had his video. But the fact that you're willing to obviously go head on against these bad optics because you knew they were going to come. Now, to the extent of the players going on Twitter and saying that they want to play, I don't think the Big Ten saw that coming. Okay, I'll be honest with you. But you got to think the Big Ten knew, well, listen, when we announced this, when we announced that fall sports, especially football, are going to be canceled, there's going to be a backlash and there's going to be an avalanche of just frustration. So they knew that was coming. The fact, and, you know, to me, the Big 12 was the first one to kind of come out and say, we understand the information that was presented. We think that, you know, we can counteract it and we're going to be okay. Like, I don't know, man. Like, to me, and listen, I don't want to say right now that the SEC and the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 are putting their student athletes in danger, okay? Like, I don't want to.
They might not be. They might be right.
Yeah. I don't want to come to that extreme right now. But, like, what baffles me a little bit and what kind of just makes me a little nervous, I guess I should say, is, like, you have some – because keep in mind, the medical field here has been questioned. Like, they've brought in medical experts. Obviously, they've done their due diligence.
Heck, the ACC medical director in the last couple of days reported saying we think it's okay to play.
Exactly.
Right now.
So my point is, and once again, I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong right now because I really don't know. But it makes me nervous when we have one side of medical experts that have obviously talked the Big Ten and Pac-12 into saying, hey, don't do this. Back out right now. Wait till the spring. It's not worth it. And then it makes me nervous for the other side of the medical experts on the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 that are like, we're fine right now. Let's just keep, hey, it's clear sailing now. It may not be perfect, but let's see how this shakes out. We're in no rush right now. That's what makes me nervous, Brent, because at least and once again, take the politics out of it. I'm trusting the medical people here. All right? Like, I trust doctors. If I'm supposed to wear a mask, I listen to my doctor. If I'm not, I listen to my doctor. Like, I trust doctors right now. And it's rubbing me the wrong way, the fact that we have both sides right now on the medical field, almost like another political situation where some doctors are saying, yeah, it's good to play, and some doctors are saying, don't do it.
Well, it's important to note. I mean, the medical field is always, I wouldn't say at odds, but there's disagreeing opinions in medical field, no doubt. I mean, you can go to your physician and then go down the street to another physician.
That's why they call it a second opinion.
Yeah, that's right. So,
yeah.
But so it does happen, I guess, is the point. And it can, whether it's politically driven, belief driven, study driven, education driven. I mean, who knows? But To me, it's more. I can't because we're not privy to those kind of things, and because you're right. I mean, it's hard to believe or know what to believe and what the motivation behind the belief is. I kind of look at it as like, all right, let's just look at it from a power play strategy kind of viewpoint. If everybody's on this side of the bridge, and you've got these few people on this side of the bridge, how much pressure does it say to come on to our side of the bridge?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just natural.
That's in anything. Yep.
So I wonder if this is a squeeze a little bit more, whether it's intended or not, on the SEC, ACC, and Big 12. We'll find out. Hey, I want to get to a couple of stories that I think are cool sports stories. Adrian Griffin, you know who he is? Assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors.
Okay. And
Nick Nurse allowed him to coach against the Sixers, and they got to win, of course.
Obviously.
Yesterday. I thought that was kind of neat. I don't know if that's prevalent in the NBA. Have other people done this before? Did Becky Hammond do that with San Antonio?
I think she did in the Summer League, right?
But she did in the Summer League, and I think there might have been one
Tim Duncan
time.
Filled in for Pop when he was out.
That's right, too.
But that was different.
Yeah,
Nick Nurse was there. Nick Nurse basically said, this is your team tonight.
Well, and everything's in that side of it, too. Everything's locked up from the Raptors standpoint. Yeah.
But it's cool because, first of all, if you read Adrian Griffin's words about it, he thought it was great, and it was a cool thing to be able to do. I just was like, I wonder why more people don't do this in games that might not, say, matter as much or whatever.
Sure.
But why wouldn't you do that to groom assistant coaches, managers, whatever it might be, head football coaches? I wonder if we could see more of that. Maybe we've seen more of that, didn't even know it was a storyline in the past. I just thought it was kind of a neat thing, but my first response was, oh, why wouldn't you do that more often? There's so many teams that just play it out.
Yeah.
Like Steve Kerr and Golden State, when they were playing, they could have they were out of it like a month into the year.
Well, yeah, and I would say some of those years, though, they were trying to go for, like, the record. They were trying to win.
I get it. My point, I just use this as an example.
Right.
I mean, like the Red Sox stink, okay?
Yeah.
So if they wanted to go put this manager in charge.
What would the optics of that be? Would that look like, so the Jags say they lose the first 5 games, and Doug's like, all right, we're going to let an assistant.
Sorry, Goose. I mean to cut you off. Oh, no, you're fine. No, I'm saying they're tanking when you do that, though, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, not the Raptors because they're already locked up.
No, I get it. I hear what you're saying. It's easier to do it if you're kind of winning and wrap things up. All right, then why haven't the Patriots done it in the past? Why hasn't Josh McDaniels or Belichick's kid coached a game?
Do you think Bill Belichick wants to lose McDaniels? Do you think he wants to lose his kid? Honestly.
Well, I think it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, Nick Nurse obviously seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I understand you get 82 games and playoff games. You've been doing it a little bit. Again, the thought that crossed my mind was like, all right, why don't we see more of that?
I thought it was a great gesture.
So I'd be for it.
I think it's a situation that it does have to be a very select moment, kind of like this, maybe at the end of the season. Because, I mean, if you're a team, obviously, that's tanking, the NBA specifically doesn't like that. So, like, if you then throw in a coach who's not your actual coach or an assistant or something, like, it kind of...
Well, I think you're right. Listen, the tanking part is correct. But so I would take it from the other side. Just as many teams that are stinking and the game doesn't mean anything, there are that many teams often that have clinched and the game doesn't mean anything down the stretch.
Yeah.
And when they have those games, they put players in and give them a shot, right? Mm-hmm. And they give them a chance. And they're like, well, you can clearly tell they ain't trying to win the game, and they don't care about winning the game, but they're giving opportunity. We celebrate that. Hey, that's a cool opportunity. Well, why don't we see that more in coaching? That's what I thought about when I saw this.
You know why they'll say that, though? They'll throw the players, and we're developing our talent. Would you say that for coaches? Because then it's like, well, we might lose them because we developed them too much.
It's two things. I would, if I was a head coach, I would like to say I was part of developing a guy that went on to coach. If I'm a young guy and I'm going to have the job. Yeah. If I'm a GM or somebody else, I'd like to have, and my coach is going to leave sooner or later because he's old or whatever, then I would say I'd like to have the next guy in. Let's get a little practice at this. Yeah. Get a little sample of it. Not a bad idea. Hey, the other cool story. Daniel Bard, you probably haven't heard of him, but this is a guy, he's a pitcher, He used to pitch for the Red Sox back in 2011. He had a save. Hasn't had a save since then until this year. 2013 got out of baseball because he couldn't throw a strike.
Huh.
He all of a sudden couldn't throw a strike.
Yeah.
Well, this year, he's got 12 strikeouts and no walks in 8 appearances, I think it is.
Dang.
He's lighting it up. First time he's been back pitching in the bigs in 7 or 8 years, throwing 98 miles an hour. Really cool story. Daniel Bard, who went from, you lose it, you lose it. Chuck Knobloch to Steve Sachs to whoever. And Rick Ankiel, whatever happened to Rick Ankiel? Got moved to the outfield and then gone.
Yeah.
This guy, here he is making it a comeback. Pretty neat story.
Nothing better than a comeback story, man.
So a couple of good comeback nice stories here on a Thursday as we end the show. I wanted to get some high school football and not going to do it, but tomorrow's a big day in high school fall sports, not just football. There should be a decision made. We'll see if it happens. We'll have it for you on the show tomorrow. Hope you have a good night. 1st and 10 training camp, 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Thanks for hanging with us on ESPN 690.
Engagement ring shopping is enough of a challenge for your average guy, but try doing it while on a ship deployed hundreds